Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Minefield. Keith is down there in the corner. We got Yeti, Mad Mardigan, and Fat Steven right now. We may get more as the show goes on to join the panel, which today we're going to be mostly focusing our show on the Oscars. But we're going to talk early about the reviews for the 4-hour Justice League, as well as the premiere of Falcon and the Snowman.
I call it Falcon.
I love that I got him to laugh at that. Yeah,
it's Falcon and the lesbian haircut named Julie. That's what it's called. I fucking hate it.
I got to tell you, of the two, because I watched Justice League, I liked Winter Soldier better. It was that opening scene was awesome.
They delivered it perfectly, but the trailer did not add up to what the show was in the first season, and that trailer is an embarrassment in my opinion.
I don't know the trailer, but I watched the premiere episode and it was good. I enjoyed it. I watched it at like 2:00 this morning.
No, I enjoyed Bucky's part of it. I did not care for Sam or his broke sister who doesn't understand that if you don't have an actual income, a steady income, banks aren't going to lend you the money. Like, I didn't really care for any of that. But Bucky's,
she comes off as kind of an ass because she's wanting to sell off their properties because she doesn't want to deal with it. And it's like having kids somehow doesn't allow you to be an entrepreneur. And it's like, as a former parent, single parent, I had to be an entrepreneur to do what I did, take care of my kid. So yeah, I didn't like her character very much. But I thought the action scene at the beginning was really good. I really liked the Bucky part. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I really like the dynamic of how he's going through his list.
And his trauma at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
His nightmares is the way of pushing his drive for retribution for the things he did as the WS, and that the way they did that was great. Because even with the therapist, he hates therapists, and that's giving me like Lethal Weapon vibes in a way.
It really
he did. You know what I mean? It's like she wants to make out with me. I didn't say that, Riggs.
I enjoyed how he also withheld until she pulled out that fucking notebook.
He's like, you promised you wouldn't write in the notebook. Well, you promised me you'd talk.
So I found myself laughing.
Let me see your phone.
I guess, I had a few problems with it, but I mean, it was still enjoyable. And I can also see why things took a while for them to film, because I think unlike WandaVision, I think they do a lot of filming overseas, and trying to put those particular stunts that we saw in this episode, along with some of the things they hint at, you're going to run into problems in the middle of a pandemic. So I can see why this had to be delayed, because originally this was meant to be the kickoff for Disney Plus as far as Marvel was concerned. And then WandaVision was meant to follow after this.
Oh, shoot. Could you imagine if it did, though? Because WandaVision ended so badly, right?
You're also a lot closer to, quote unquote, to when Doctor Strange 2 would be coming.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it was thought of.
But they didn't really allude to Doctor Strange in that. It was kind of left out of the show.
Other than saying that she's way more powerful than him, but yeah,
that's exactly it.
And the Darkhold, because that's the missing book from Doctor Strange. If you go back to that movie,
Darkhold?
That's the Darkhold she's reading.
I was right. It doesn't.
Yeah. It doesn't look like the one from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's meant to be the exact same book.
Yeah, because I was either thinking it was that or the Book of Cagliostro, but the Cagliostro was still in the library after he all the thumbs.
And the reason that is also to remind people that until Feige was in control, the continuity traveled one direction from the MCU to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., not from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back.
Mm-hmm. And the person that was in charge of Marvel Television is now no longer in charge of it, and I don't even think he's employed with them anymore. So Feige pretty much runs everything, which on the one hand is cool. On another hand, it's kind of troubling because that's a lot of responsibility he's got. That's a lot of stuff he's trying to really, and one more reason why I admire the guy, because he's really taking on a lot more responsibility, unlike I could. This is where I insert my Walter Hamada slam. But here's the thing: it's even worse. No, it's even worse for everyone else. Because do you know who's running everything at Paramount? Do you know who's doing everything in Sony? Do you know who's doing everything at Universal? You don't, because there's really no one else. And so at least Walter Hamada, he may be taking the lazy way out of things, but at least he's there to at least take some responsibility. But he's definitely not doing a tenth of what Kevin Feige's doing.
But that's also probably why the shows and movies have been so much more cohesive, because it's been one person, one vision going through him to set it up, instead of 12 different people, 12 different producers all trying to make their own mark, and then somebody at the end stitching it together like Frankenstein.
There's actually two visions now. There's a white vision.
Thank you for making that joke. I was wanting to do it. Thank you, Mad.
It is really difficult to put something like this together, and for Warner Brothers to have gone as long as they have, having all this different stuff that they put forward just since the year 2000. Because I've been pushing the whole thing that basically we are in the DCEU version 2B.
Can I ask you, Keith?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think it is difficult, or the other studios do not want to give up that type of power to one individual?
Both.
Both.
Okay. It is difficult because initially it is about finding one person to give all that power to, but that doesn't mean that once you do that, it's easy. Alex Kurtzman still found a way of shutting an entire thing down and completely messing up Universal with their Universal Monsters, because he was the guy, that was what he was doing before Star Trek. And he shut the entire thing down with one movie.
Oh, that movie was so bad too. I still haven't finished. I've tried watching.
Never even tried.
Oh no, I've gone through 2 or 3 times. I have yet to finish the film because I have to turn it off. It is just
It's got some good ideas in it, but the actual script itself, and even with the whole thing that mysteriously came out, because that's the MO of Kurtzman. Even after the whole thing came out, in actuality, Tom Cruise came in and just took over the entire production. Of course he did. No. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Because what the hell were you doing?
Okay, when you say production, do you mean the entire story narrative, or do you just
he took over the entire story narrative? But even if he did,
I don't believe that. Because his movies generally have a stronger story to them. Like if you look at the Mission Impossibles, there's a very good core story in every single one of them that isn't even close to the way that the Mummy was put together. Because that thing is a nightmare on structure and pacing.
It has a stink to it. There's a stench to that movie, and Kurtzman needs to understand. Hollywood can't keep allowing him to just make up these little side stories about how it's not his fault every single effing time. And yet he does. He gets away with it. And now, because of CBS and their former CEO when he was there, his claws are so deep in all of that it's going to be next to impossible to basically get him out of that. as far as Star Trek is concerned. So, I mean, they're going to have to deal with that. It's literally now going to come down to how long he wants to do it.
I believe him about the Tom Cruise thing, because you're talking about a guy that brought robots to the set to check for coke. You know what I mean? Like, that seems like somebody that's going to take over a movie.
True, but if you're not very strong, if you're not actually leading, because can you see somebody pulling that kind of stunt?
Okay, so on one hand, I agree with both of you, just because if Tom Cruise comes in, yeah, he's a very powerful guy and he'd do the production. But on the other hand, the story structure is such a mess. I can't see him doing that, because you look at the movies that when he took control, he cares. Like
I haven't seen it, so I can't say whether or not this is true, but like, does it have a lot of Scientology like messages in it? Like,
no, that would have made it better.
Maybe this is like a really Zemu influenced story.
There was actually a 45-minute scene where it's nothing but Tom Cruise jumping on a couch while holding some woman's hands, screaming about how happy he is.
The only thing I've seen outside of that one Travolta movie, which was making of one of the Scientology books, is Will Smith and his kid's sci-fi movie,
After Earth.
Yeah, that is such a fucking Scientology movie.
100%, yeah.
And it's why it flopped. I really do believe that that's why it flopped, because the mindset of the characters in the story really don't make sense to reality.
Well, yeah, you took Will Smith, one of the most charismatic like leads in Hollywood, and you're like, no, act like you're just not even like you're not even there. Just act like void of personality.
Right.
In the story, that was kind of supposed to be the point, because you show no fear. And that distracts you from the giant monster, but it's a really bad movie, especially because his kid can't act that well.
I was hoping.
Thank you, Sean. Battlefield Earth.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I knew the name of it. Like, that's
Battlefield Earth is Travolta.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, and Dreads.
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard book. Yeah.
Oh God, that one is such a mess. Oh
L. Ron Hubbard was just a horrible writer.
But you know what's funny, right? That
but he's really good at cult
Last
leading.
Jedi is worse than Battlefield Earth. Just think about that. Look at that awkward silence. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where I would place it.
You know what? Battlefield Earth as a story was really the idea of one man. Last Jedi was an entire story group of about 15 individuals along with Rian Johnson.
By the way, for the record, L. Ron Hubbard does have the Guinness Book World Record for the most books written. Just none of them were good.
Yeah, not one of them.
No. Like, if you don't know, like, when he wrote, what he did was he took butcher paper and put it into his typewriter, and just took a shit ton of speed and just just like, because he got paid per word, so he just like busted out all these books. He had all kinds of different pen names. He had one that was like Winchester Revolver Smith and West, like it was like 8 guns in his name, and like he just wrote so many garbage books, and his motto was first draft, last draft, get it out the door.
Hey, make that money any way you can.
I remember when Shatner's first book came out for, what was it, Tech War or whatever it was called?
Yeah.
I remember saying to a buddy of mine in the Army, I'm like, now this is what science fiction looks like when someone who doesn't know how to write it writes it. Because L. Ron Hubbard is garbage compared to Shatner.
And we're all now on a list. Just for talking about that.
Yeah, I've told that story more than once. I've been on that list for a minute.
Yeah, so the 9 people watching are going to cancel us right now.
I have written so many anti-Scientology things on Facebook, and I know Keith has read them. I just talk shit about them because I think they're just such a fucking horrible organization. It's all about their money, bilking these people out of their money. They're worse than one of the worst televangelists, which is Jim Baker, and he's just garbage human being.
And that's my only thing about Tom Cruise, is that when you watch that documentary about how that entire organization is put together,
Going clear.
and how the leader of that entire organization tries to focus everything on making sure that Tom Cruise stays in the organization. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing with Scientology right now, is that Miscavige is making sure that Tom Cruise stays one of them. Because if Tom Cruise ever left, I think Scientology is done. Completely.
So I shared an image. Is this actual fact?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's pretty much
That's
it.
South Park too.
yeah, no, Zimu, yeah, he was like in charge of like this whole universe, like all these planets, and he did an audit, and he put these he put some of them to sleep and sent them to, I forgot the name of Earth, but put them to the Earth like near volcanoes, and then they're thetans, and then the thetans are in you, and you got to get on e-meter, but don't forget to pay us that $500 entry fee. But then you get it on the e-meter, and then they'll help you relive trauma that you had in your life to get past it and get the thetans out of you.
Yeah, I thought reincarnation was weird.
Well, I thought it was because they were throwing the leftover aliens into the volcanoes, and then they would go into the earth, and then you would shampoo your hair with them.
I think that was like the souls.
That's Data Carvey. Well, Data Carvey nailed it perfectly.
Hold on a second. We got Sean says, "Are Scientologists disappointed that SJW's cancel culture have stolen their
that's good.
thunder?"
that's a good line. Yeah,
that's good, Sean. Good one.
I guess it's, again, it is difficult to actually put together any kind of universe and make it work through any of these companies. The thing is that Kevin Feige and Marvel got lucky, is really what it came down to. None of this is really designed so much as it is just luck. And I can't even begin to even think what other studio would allow one person to have control, both in terms of, I think, negotiating with talent and guiding storylines for a decade. Because the way that it seems to work with Sony is that after the first Spider-Man movie, Sony started acting like, hey, this is really cool. Hey, we got some thoughts about Spider-Man. And so, Sony and Fox both do this little dance where, even though you can make a hit movie for them and make a lot of money, somehow that then obligates you to start taking notes and start taking their suggestions for your second movie. And then they want even more power to tell you more of what to do when you get to the third movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, man, that ain't working. That does not work. And that's the reason why they are the way they are. And Warner Brothers is pretty much the same way. This is, and I don't mean to put it like this. I'm not trying to downplay how difficult it was really for Kevin Feige and everyone that works at Marvel Studios. I'm just saying everybody else is just beyond stupid the way that they work. If you're really going to try to keep pace with the MCU, you got to at least work on trying to make sure that you are doing everything that they do. If you're not going to try to do that, then you're not going to keep pace.
Yeah, stop shitting on the characters. That's a good place to start.
Yeah, well, and stop having no ideas. Come to the table with ideas, and make sure you attract talent. Make sure you attract talent that want to work like that. The great thing about Patty Jenkins is that she at least made it known that she wasn't into all that, which is the reason why she didn't stay for Thor.
But Keith, you literally just said come to the table with ideas. You do realize that the people now working in these companies were handed these things. They don't have ideas. They only know how to complain. Do you want the
Some
religion
of them
video?
don't even know how to read a comic book. Like
That's
the panels
true.
confuse them.
Watch the WandaVision making of. I'm not joking. They actually have panels of comics books in there, and I turned it off. I was like, this is not right. You guys don't read these. But I wanted to share this video quickly because Dana Carvey pretty much nailed Scientology, and I found it hilarious. Is that okay with you guys?
Go right ahead.
Scientology. I don't judge religion. I don't care what you are. You know, it's a leap of faith and whatever gets you through the night. John Lennon said that. Whatever gets you through the night. You know what I mean? Christians have magic wafers. Jewish people have magic hats. Mormons have magic underwear. I don't care. Scientologists. I had to look it up. John Travolta, Tom Cruise, they're so happy. What is it? I looked it up. Scientology, this is it. You can see it on, you can do it on the web. They believe a guy named Zeno, millions of years ago, dropped aliens down volcanoes on Earth, nuked them, their souls got in the environment, and when you shampoo your hair, they get inside your body.
I don't want to get claimed, but that's about it. He does another one where he makes up his own religion. It's called Squatting Monkeys Tell No Lies.
Now,
what?
Go ahead, Keith. No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that when we get into the beef of the episode, I was going to show the trailer, but not the audio. So
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into it.
Well, Andrea, I think, had a question. Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm reading her message. So continue talking.
Hi, Andrea. Look, ultimately, if Warner Brothers really wants to do something to compete and to get people to pay attention and be kind of happy with the things that they're going to start producing or have been producing, they need to really have a plan. Now, I will admit this. To a certain extent, given what Walter Hamada knows about comics, his whole plan with, hey, let's just have as many different ideas and allow as many different people to approach us and do as many, that's great. It's a lazy way of doing things, but I think it works given the level of what they know and what they've accomplished. I think they should modify it to just basically make it easy on themselves and just say, hey, everybody gets their own universe, basically, because it's a multiverse anyway. You let J.J. Abrams have what he wants to do. You let The Rock and his people have what they want to do. Anybody else that comes along, you give them their own thing, and you just let them go off and do it. I mean, it's kind of lazy, but it'll give you lots of material. And then you get to say, hey, and all of it's connected. Let it go at that. We'll see what survives. We'll see how long audiences will continue to go to Warner Brothers films and be excited for whatever they put out.
I don't think it's going to be much longer, honestly.
It won't, but I also think the same thing with the MCU. I think we've reached a particular point for them. The difference will be, I think Kevin Feige is headed towards the whole multiverse thing himself. I think he's going to have a different way of approaching it. And I still put my money on how Kevin Feige is going to pursue that rather than just sort of like throwing everything to the wind and just seeing how everything plays out, which is what Walter Hamada sounds like he's doing.
I don't have a lot of faith in where it's headed right now, though. Just when saw the list of movies outside of Doctor Strange 3,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't know if any of this is going to be very good. What is it? The Eternals? That looks terrible.
Don't start with that one though.
Okay, but what else? Like WandaVision. Okay, that one everybody had high hopes, and it turned out to be awful. And
no, I don't think it was awful. I think it was a letdown as it progressed to the ending, because it's like they all of a sudden gave up emotionally putting care into.
Yeah, but that's what makes it awful. Like that's what makes it hurt even more.
but it makes the ending awful. It doesn't make the series itself and how it started off awful. I'm not trying to contradict you, but I think I agree with you totally. The ending deterred the whole series, and maybe the way it was done in half-hour episodes also destroyed it. But maybe I have a different attachment to it.
Okay, here's a question to determine this. Are you going to rewatch the series after you saw the ending? Are you going to go back and rewatch?
Only if there's nothing else to masturbate.
I think there are some people like my wife that enjoyed what they saw. Now, overall, compared to everything else that's come before and that will come after, I don't know, because she didn't seem that interested in what she saw with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But then again, it's the first episode, and that seems to be par for the course at this point. That first episodes may not catch you, and maybe you should tune in for this. Now, I'm not saying I felt the same way. I enjoyed what I saw with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have some questions, and some things I didn't think were as strong as they needed to be. Well, but again, it's the first episode.
I don't understand why Bucky wouldn't be taking up the shield, because it does not make any sense why Falcon is the one that gets handed the shield.
Okay, you haven't seen the first episode, have you?
I haven't seen the first episode.
Then I don't want to sound like a dick. I got your image, but when I brought before about the trailer delivering one type of image, is not what the first episode gives us. So the delivery of that
Endgame. Just that being handed to the shield, being handed to the Falcon, saying, okay. So does the first episode clarify that point?
It does, and it actually right at the beginning. Can I spoil it for you or no?
Let's avoid spoiling it.
Let's avoid spoilers.
I want to avoid it.
I don't know, Keith. You've seen the trailer when it first announced the Falcon, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So can you agree that the trailer and the first episode definitely do not make the same message?
Yeah, and I'll put.
I got Lethal Weapon from the trailer.
Yeah. I will say this. I can see why Steve did it.
Lasso of Truth also liked Wonder Woman 1984, so.
Yeah,
I can respect that.
Oh no, she is awesome. She's always in the chats, but I have to give her a hard time for liking that movie.
Hey, look, people are welcome to like what they like.
You can like what you can like.
The only thing I always, this is the argument I make when Keith's actually seen me do this to people that have now hate me and unfriended me. One of them, Travis, unfriended me over this. Because, I said, look, man, you can like a film all you want that I don't like. That's okay.
Yeah.
All that tells me about you is you've got shit taste in storytelling.
Well, we already knew that.
And
Lasso is fantastic. She's a friend to basically all of our channels, but she's a massive Wonder Woman fan. So I like giving her a hard time on that ever since I made the roast.
I support that. I think that it's awesome that she supports, because Wonder Woman is really one of the greatest comic book characters ever created.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I hate it when people give Wonder Woman shit, because I'm like, that is a great fucking character. Are you kidding me? It is also the only known comic book character that went through a bondage and discipline phase, where there was always this, bondage going on and sexy poses, and it's like, how are they getting away with this in a comic book during the Code era?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is definitely a character.
Sean, no, you only like what I like.
That Kevin Feige would love to get his hands on and be able to do those, because it's just a fantastic character. I know I keep going back to Kevin Feige, but I mean, the man is just.
You have a man crush on Feige?
Oh,
and also, you didn't say Feige, you said Faggy. You can roll it back, guys, later.
I didn't know he was a smoker.
Oh, good save.
I think Mr. Feige is a most excellent person, and one of the few people that he's exactly what's advertised. He is that good. I cannot see anyone else challenging his dominance within the next 5 to 10 years.
I would just like to take this moment to apologize to Keith's family for the future watching. We are always going to be like this, so I'm sorry.
Thank you for that.
I'm not really sorry.
I think especially Warner Brothers should make some kind of an attempt to either pair Walter Hamada with someone who actually knows comics and to strengthen what they're attempting to do, or just give up the ghost and just continue on with the let's just hope plan, because that seems to be where they're headed. I mean, that's and again, this is not to go after Lasso, but that's pretty much what Wonder Woman 84 and all the other post Justice League films have become. It's just, hey, let's everybody just go off and do what you want to do and start making stuff up. That's fine. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. But
that movie in particular absolutely destroys the continuity, because Wonder Woman suddenly has this ability to put things invisible. One, she just does an airplane out of nowhere, but I won't get into that movie. But for Steppenwolf, like, she has this power to make it invisible. That would have been a really good talent to bring up in the moment when they're trying to hide it, tried to hide the mother box. That would have solved a lot of things.
But at the same time, what I'm also trying to figure out is how Wonder Goldar 84 learned invisibility from, what was it, Odin? I didn't know Odin had the power of invisibility.
I know. That's why I'm trying not to dive right into that movie and stick it more to the
Odin changed his shape when he wanted to get in love with a mortal woman. But I'm like,
Wonder Woman 84
he means Zeus.
Is a film.
I know. I'm just. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm making. Yeah,
84 is a film that is not going to have the.
You are right. It is a film.
It's not going to have the lasting power because it failed in every aspect of DC continuity.
And notice who wrote it. You know, that's Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns.
Yeah, what did I say to you before I even knew it? I'm like going, man, this movie has the stink of Jeff Johns all over it.
You did. I mean,
when you said that, I thought the guy was a better storyteller just because I've read some of his old stuff.
I put him right up there with Joss Whedon.
Man. So he had a good run, writers, and then it was
shitty writers, man. They're good story guys. I think they're shitty writers.
Okay, so the overall idea?
Yeah, I think he's good at ideas, especially in his comic books. But I think even his ideas in film, like his idea for Green Lantern, I think if it had been handed over to an actually good writer, I think that we would have got a better film.
Well, that's strike three. With
that was it.
No. I mean, Wonder Woman Darkest Night was great.
Jeff Johns is on my list of people that can go fuck themselves.
and seriously, if you go Green Lantern, which he worked on the screenplay for, and then having produced and worked on Justice League, and then Wonder Woman 84, that's 3 strikes. 3. You're done, dude. I mean, I held out hope for you, and you couldn't get it done.
Even his Stargirl series is so dumb. I'm like, the first episode, I was like, oh, this has promise. And then second episode dropped, and I was like, oh, Jeff Johns, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't get across the line, you dumbass. God. He got so hokey by episode 2. I was like, that's it, I'm done.
And remember, he's been trying to become the man for the better part of at least since 2001. He had submitted his script for a Batman movie, and they rejected it in favor of doing Batman Begins.
Yeah, I saw that in his yearbook from high school. It said, most likely to want to be Kevin Feige.
Not what I'm inhaling, man.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, my God. What do you want to be when you grow up, Jeff Johns? Well, I want to be a Feige, just like the other one.
But it's so sad, given how much of a rock star he was in the 90s. It is so sad for him not to be able to repeat on some level the kind of success that he had in comics. And to look at his friend Kevin Feige, who on the one hand, it's easy to go, well, Kevin had it easy. He didn't. Kevin Feige didn't have it easy. What it came down to is he abandoned Kevin Feige. He took the easy way out. Both those guys went to college because they wanted to work in Hollywood. One wanted to be a producer and the other one wanted to be a writer. And Johns decided, I'm going to take the easy way out because we're both comic book fans, but I'm going to go write comics. Because, working as a screenwriter is hard. So he went and he became really good. He had fans. He could go to conventions and get mobbed. He was a freaking rock star. Meanwhile, Kevin Feige had to eat shit.
Really?
I shouldn't say that. Kevin Feige had to basically, he had a hard time working in Hollywood. Because seriously, after the first X-Men movie came out, did any of you people actually know his name? Did you know who the heck he was?
Oh.
His job for the first X-Men movie was to basically make sure that Bryan Singer made it set and didn't disappear. That was his job. And he suffered through all of the bad stuff they had with the early X-Men films, basically all the Marvel films that Fox did. He basically was a producer on. So his plan, his key to success is pretty much, just
Hugh Jackman.
No,
huge Ackman.
was basically, see how everyone did it, see how Laura Shula Donner did it, and see how Fox did it, and do the exact opposite.
Sort of like the way I did my parenting. Whatever my dad would do, I did the opposite.
Yeah, well, it's worked out for Kevin Feige. And you get Jeff Johns, and it's like, well, that's easy. So he crosses back over. Now he wants to be in Hollywood, and he can't get it. He can't get it. He doesn't understand it. And he's had a lot more influence on a lot of these films than people think.
Yeah, because he's always playing in the background. I mean, he's had an impact on what Berlanti's doing. He's all over the place.
But look at all the movies that have been done well before you even get to Batman Begins, and look at a lot of the stuff that was produced even around with that stuff. I mean, again, since 2000, we've had a Green Lantern movie, we've had a Jonah Hex movie, we've had a Constantine movie. None of these really hit. There are people that like good, though.
I like Constantine.
People like some of those films, but none of those films really hit.
I thought Constantine did fairly well.
Constantine didn't make the kind of money that they were hoping that it was going to make. Okay. On top of that, you had the producer who really wasn't listening to anything that anyone had to say, who has the attitude of say what?
Pardon?
You had a producer that really wasn't listening to what anyone had to say.
Pardon?
And there you go. And and
I think
ironically,
Sean misheard you, and I explained to him that because Sean thought you said that he can, Kevin Feige can eat shit. You actually what you said was that Kevin Feige ate shit working for those assholes, is what you were saying.
Yeah, basically. He was paying his dues.
He was trying to make a joke. Yeah, you failed at that, Sean. Yeah. You're like Biden trying to go up stairs.
It is really difficult to look at a lot of what has happened with Warner Brothers. When you look at the first Justice League movie that they were doing with George Miller, when you look at all of the films that they produced, and all the attempts, and again, this is the original DCEU attempt, well before even Man of Steel. which is the reason why I called what we're into version 2 B. So Warner Brothers has just been screwing up for so long.
Well,
and
okay.
they've screwed up.
Speaking on that,
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see the recent articles about Johnny Cage for
Oh,
Mortal
God.
Kombat?
Oh, God.
Yes, I did.
We can't have a white man be in charge. Let's get that white girl. Then let's bring Chung-Li in, too.
It's
so funny how they're doing all of this. I hate to cut us short, but the fact is we actually we've been at it for almost 40 minutes. I let us go 10 minutes longer than I expected, but because it was interesting what was going on. But we need to move into the actual turn your head to the left and cough balls of the show, and talk about the Oscar snub. And it's not the only Oscar snub.
Oh, there were several.
Yeah, there were several. But this one really because I really do consider this the best film of 2020. And we've had the director on our show previously, and we're going to have him again on our show again in April. And he knows and gave his blessings for us to be nice to him in his film. Rod Lurie's The Outpost. And, it's sad state of affairs when the single best movie of the fucking year gets completely ignored by the Academy. But I shouldn't be surprised. I haven't bothered to watch an Oscar since the mid 2000s because it's garbage. It's just a giant fucking Hollywood circle jerk. It's them all sucking each other's dicks. And I don't care if people are offended by that language. That's how I feel about it.
Do you think if
the
there was
Oscars only have one meaning to actors in Hollywood, and that is to push up how much they get paid for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And even getting a nomination affects that bottom line for the actors. And that's really all it is. And then the rest of it is just grandstanding and stroking each other. And there's no bigger group of people who should not be stroking themselves in public. And that's why the fucking ratings for that show tanks every year, worse and worse. Every year it gets worse.
When you describe it, sounds like it should be a really good party.
Yeah, you would think so. Celebrities, having some sort of ego orgy, because that's what it is. It's an ego orgy. You're not going to get to see any hot girls making out. It's they're making out emotionally. And I'm appalled by it. I get
the worst kind of making out.
People who are so detached from reality that and people that listen to celebrity opinions. I don't care who the celebrity is. I don't care what their political slant is. Celebrities are the last people that should be spokesmen for any fucking thing other than what they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Do you think though that if the Oscars opened up with just all of them circle jerking each other, they would take it a little bit more literally because they then aren't being honest about themselves to the public?
Don't care.
Okay.
We don't look. I want to see Tom Cruise's movies. I don't want to hear him talk about Scientology and how he's in love. I do. Shut up.
I mean, listen. I asked to be on here specifically because of how much I love The Outpost. It was, and I liked this movie, The Last Castle, as well, with Robert Redford. I thought that was a great movie as well.
Yeah, Rod Lurie is a very good director. He's very pro-soldier because he served. He was an
West
officer,
Point graduate.
West Point graduate. He and Keith get along really well because they're both Democrats, and I love that. He kind of ignores me because I think he just can smell the conservative on me. But he took a shine to Keith, and I really like that. And I like that he wants to come back on our show because as well as anybody, Keith, how fair-minded I am. I'm very fair with people. I'm not, even though I come off as very judgmental, I'm actually very fair-minded with people, and I give them a lot of leeway when they're
Except
talking.
they take the last slice of pizza.
Except for you, Yeti. Shut up. But I'm going to show Okay. I don't want to get struck because we have permission to show these trailers, but we still keep getting hit by for showing much. So I'm only going to show a few seconds of this. And
Do you remember what happened?
I'm going to talk over it too.
During the
To
battle.
help.
You'll need to pause it every 10 seconds, basically.
Yeah. This is an absolutely realistic. I put this way above Black Hawk Down for depicting combat, as well as being a better film. Because as good as Black Hawk Down is, it is a film that in its own subtitle makes a huge mistake. It's called Black Hawk Down, Leave No Soldier Behind. And what do they do in the end of the movie? They left a soldier behind. And that Ridley Scott, I think, like Spielberg, has no understanding of irony and how ironic that is, that they make that statement and then leave a soldier behind. There are a lot of flaws in the storytelling of Black Hawk Down, but it's still a very good film, very realistic depiction of combat. But this is, since Saving Private Ryan's combat scenes, which were directed by Dale Dine, not Spielberg, this is the single best combat scenes I've ever seen, and I get choked up watching it.
Oh, can I push back on that for a little bit? Again, I love this movie, but the reason why I love this movie it's not because of the combat, but it's because of everything like around it, the interactions between the soldiers, like the grabassery, the radio talk, like all of it's real. Like seeing a dozen spit bottles just throughout the room just hit home. It took me 4 hours to watch this movie the first time because I kept stopping every 10 minutes and talking to my girlfriend about why this is so awesome and would go into a story. 4 hours to watch it. But as far as the actual combat, I think Lone Survivor, its depiction of
that's another gut-wrenching film. Yeah.
I can't watch it again because of how realistically it portrays like what it's like to be shot. Like it's like this. That was far more like realistic than this. I had a few problems with the combat in this one. It's hard to explain. Like when he's looking through the ACOG and he was shooting, like it didn't feel right to me.
Well, that's the thing. When you've got guys who are actors, not soldiers,
right?
They'll do things and you'll spot it and you'll go,
oh, for sure. Nobody wanted to wear their Kevlar throughout this movie. Like,
yeah, it's just, you'll see funny things. I'm going to let another 10 seconds go.
Welcome to the dark side of the moon, gentlemen.
Aren't we supposed to be on top of the mountain to win this thing?
Yeah, remember Star Wars taught us high ground.
Yes.
It's like, this is the craziest fucking thing. I remember hearing about this shit when it happened. Like, what the fuck were they doing in a valley surrounded by mountain? That's just asking for trouble. Mm-hmm. Come on, Matt, say something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. This trailer, I think they should have used a different voice for that line that just happened.
Yeah.
Our job is to separate the Taliban and the ordinary people.
He went all in on that accent, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
How do we do our jobs and stay safe? Respect.
One of the first things you learn in the military is don't make a silhouette. And of course, I'm paused on a silhouette. It was one of my complaints of Saving Private Ryan. One of the first scenes you see of them going out in country after the initial surge onto the beach was them walking along a ridge line. And it's one of the things you're told not to ever do. Stay below a ridge line.
Okay, yeah, you walk on either side just to avoid having that.
You don't want to be a silhouette.
Yeah. Okay.
Period. That's the rule you learn in combat. Don't make yourself a silhouette.
That makes a lot of sense.
Keeps us safe.
I wouldn't trade this for anything. Look at us, band of brothers.
Keep me in your prayers, okay?
Trust me, babe, I quit.
I love you.
And this, of course, he goes into the. I mean, one of the first things you learn in basic training is what's called battle buddy, and it's something that becomes ingrained in you, is that it's not about what I'm doing as long as I'm not having an impact and hurting the guy next to me, your battle buddy. And as goofy as that sounds, it really is ingrained in every good infantry soldier that you have to do your job to the best of your ability in order not to get the guy next to you killed. And it's always on your mind. I don't want to, as we say, we don't want to fuck up and get somebody killed. And I'm sure that I'd like to hear your thoughts on that one, Mad.
Yeah, I mean, for us, Battle Buddy it's like, oh man, I can't go to the PX by myself. Let me grab somebody. No,
that's actually true though. I never got a haircut once without somebody with me.
But so before we started, for sure. Before we started, we were talking about Blue Falcons or whatever.
Yeah, buddy.
And yeah, so we, I was on a Bradley crew. I was dismounted at the time, and we had a accidental discharge. I don't forget what do they call it now? Negligent something. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, we had an accidental discharge with the coax on the Bradley. Right, it's a 7.62. Anyway, and so when we got back, the armor wanted us to bring the gun to him so he can inspect it, because our BC, Sergeant Russell, now we've been together for over like a year at this point, right? And they wanted to see the gun because Sergeant Russell was saying that there was something wrong with it mechanically, right? So the gunner and I, Chris, we go out to get it. And it turned out that there was a piece inside of it that was broken. Now, did that happen when we were slamming it from side to side of the Bradley before we took it out? I don't know. I'm not an armorer. I'm just saying, you got to do things to look out for your board. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like, sprinkle crack on someone. I'm just saying like, break a gun if you got to.
Sprinkle a little crack. Just a little, not too much.
That's too much paperwork.
I'll go ahead and hit play again here. Here we go.
We're gonna win by getting their hearts and minds.
We want their hearts and minds, and they want our blood and guts.
Sorry, pal, but that's life at Camp Keating.
Fuck,
My
he's
God,
so Clint
he sounds
Eastwood.
like his dad. That was Clint Eastwood. Just hard to believe how much he looks like his dad and sounds like his dad. Sorry, kid. And the funny part is the military mustache really looks goofy on him.
Yeah, it does.
and I used to tell people, a lot of us wanted to have that military mustache. I had one, and you just sort of look like you got a Schittler half the time, and it's just so goofy looking because you can't have a mustache out past the corner of your mouth, and that's the rule of the DoD. Well, for the Army, I think the Marines have that rule too. Air Force, they don't care.
I think Scott looked really good in Suicide Squad because he was also in that one too. Wow. I mean, he is a very good actor.
Also in The Fury, which is not a very good war film.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say Fury?
Yeah, the movie Fury.
I love Fury.
I meet so many people that do, and I can't stand it. The multicolored tracers, and having a soldier in your tank command tell you he's going to rape somebody. Absolutely, in a combat situation, he would have stood up and shot him right there. Barenthal's character would have been shot on the spot for saying what he said.
I love the dynamic between the crew because I was both,
when they're in the tank, it's good.
I mean, yeah, I guess loved it. Like, but you got to understand, even if he did say that, right? They have been together through so much. He absolutely would not have just stood up and shot him.
I think he would have. I would have done it. I would have shot him right then and there because he's about to commit a crime. Yeah. And I would have absolutely dropped him. But anyway, I'm not going to say that.
That's fine.
That I'm not dismissing you at all, Matt.
Oh, no.
But here we go. Let's watch a few more seconds.
Every time they take a pot shot at us, they're figuring us out. When the big one comes, all of us dialed in.
And I really did like the realistic approach to the combat in this, which is I dislike war films with a lot of music. The music of war is the sound of the shit happening to you. And I just really hate when films add a score to a combat scene. And though they're showing it in the trailer with music, it is not like that in the film. And
I agree. Like if I mean, one of the best shootouts like is in Heat, you know, right after the robbery. It's amazing. And there's not a single note. It's just this loud echo from the buildings, just da 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 da. You know what I mean? And it gives it's such a good scene. Like it's so good. And for this, they did a lot of like these long like one shots during the battle. So like you would be, you know, you're tracking with a specific soldier like throughout his run and whatever everything happens, and then it'll be passed on to someone. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was I thought it was just amazing.
Yeah, but the one thing I think this film really does a good job of pointing out is the failure of command, which is to build a fob. Wait, was this a fob or what? I forget what Kittimer was. What was Kittimer? Was it a fob or what did they call it?
Kittimer were the Klingons.
It was. I mean, I guess they called it an outpost, but I
outpost. It's an outpost.
I was in Iraq. I mean, we had fobs. Like I don't know about.
Forward observation base.
Yeah.
You know, and I guarantee you, you know, you being who you are, you went outside the wire, and you were called a fobbit, a guy, a pogue, if you were the person that never went outside the wire. And there comes to a point where your guys that go outside the wire separate themselves from the other people in the fob, because there are those that call fobbits, like a hobbit, a fobbit. And there are those that go outside the wire. And this outpost is literally outside the wire.
Yeah.
It is surrounded by giant walls where the enemy would just come up over the ridge and just start shooting down at them. They were in a bowl. They were, what do they call it? Fish in a bowl.
Fish in a barrel.
Barrel. That's all they were. And it was inevitable that something like this was going to happen that is depicted in the film. It was inevitable. And this is the failure of your command, where they don't think. They go, well, is this a good idea? And they're like that line from Jurassic Park. You're so worried about doing a thing, you don't think if it's the thing you should do. And they put an outpost surrounded by enemy mountains. And it was just waiting for the day when you would... it could have ended up a lot worse than what it was, because they were just raining hell down on these guys. But anyway, let's watch a few more seconds.
The Taliban's still here! Harkins are coming! There's the big one. Saddle up! Everybody fall back. Enemy in the wire. I'll hang back and provide cover.
I'm sorry about that.
I like the fact that one of the main characters is kind of a shitheel. He's kind of a buddy fucker kind of character.
Oh yeah, what's his name from that Keenan and Kill? I don't know which one does it. Movie.
Yeah, it's like
Get Out. It was. I think it's Jordan Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele does that. He was the brother in Get Out.
Yep. He's such a shitheel in this film. I
really like
served with guys like this, where I'm just like, why the fuck are you here?
Yeah.
Why would you join the military if you've got a problem with having people in charge of you?
I mean, so did I, but not to this degree. But what I love about that though is, and they did it with other characters too, like the one of the what was it, a captain that would come in that was in charge, maybe a major, I can't remember.
Yeah, one of them wouldn't even leave his bunker.
Yeah, but they justified it though, right? Like when the guy we're talking about, the Get Out guy, like, you know, he comes up to complain about him or whatever, and the dude's like, look, you have no idea what he's been through. You know what I mean? Like when he was in Iraq, like the shit that he saw, like, you know what I mean? So it never painted someone like that there was gray to everyone, even the ones like, you know what I mean? Like what a shit bag. But like, yeah, they still were redeemable until he shot the dog.
And that's what this guy is. You know, it's like he's really kind of the main character of the film because we watch that's his character arc, and it was really true. He's kind of a shitheel and ends up becoming, because I hate the word heroic, but he shows the single most amount of personal gallantry in combat.
Yeah, but he got a RCOM with V2 for these fucking assholes.
Okay, so I'm not a combat vet at all, so I want to ask you guys: does
plus you're Canadian?
Plus I'm Canadian. You guys are just protecting me, anyways.
Yeah.
No, okay. So is that shit heel? Are they generally those that won't go out of their way to take a risk and will hide, or
they do the bare essentials and even often don't even do that? They're constantly getting written up. I knew this one guy, just he was such a fuck chop. I couldn't stand him. I really couldn't stand him, and I gave him a warning. I said, when you get to permanent party, you're fucked, dude. Because
oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep
no,
going.
just, you better get your head out of your ass and start focusing on doing your job. And because they won't tolerate that shit when you get the permanent party. They won't.
Oh, okay. So the people that you're talking about, were they just generally just terrible at everything they're doing, or were some of them, capable of thinking outside the box and just disagreed with command?
Oh, well, no, you don't do that.
No.
But I mean, in like that, doing that.
But in the situation, is like, okay, if we go that way, we're getting killed. But if we do this, so I'm just trying to figure out how that character.
He's the kind of guy that takes extra cigarette breaks.
Yeah, you're talking about two entirely different people. Like,
okay, that's what I'm trying to clarify.
Yeah, one, like the day that we got hit. That morning I woke up sick to my stomach. Like I couldn't smoke, I couldn't dip. Like I was just like sick to my stomach.
Yeah,
and I tried to get the guy that was in charge, who was a staff sergeant. I was trying to get him to change our route because we'd been going the same way for 3 days because we were linking up with the National Police to do a raid. And I tried to get him to change the route. He was like, no, we'll get this. You know what? This is the way that we're going to go. And I kind of blew up. I think I got blown up. I was going to get in so much trouble when we got back. But the point is that that's entirely different from a dude who is just complete shit. We had a guy came to us halfway through our deployment who was just complete shit. Couldn't do anything. The only reason he got there because he fell through the cracks because this was in 2005, 2006, and they just needed as many bodies as they can. So they're waiving everything. They're turning a blind eye to things. This guy, I have so many stories about him. I'm not going to bog us down with, but he tried to correct a Navy SEAL at one point, but that's a story for a different time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So very different types of people. And the ones, the shit heel is just kind of useless. And
Absolutely.
He's pushing back because he doesn't want to do something, not because he thinks he can do it better.
Right. Yeah. He's complaining. Yeah. He's not going to have an actual legitimate reason for why something shouldn't be. It's just because he's whining because he doesn't want to do it. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. I was very curious when you were talking about that aspect of the military.
Well, what's interesting is these guys can easily be painted when you see a guy that's been around for a while and his rank is low. You've probably got a problem soldier. And you kind of look for him. And as a combat medic myself, my job was to motivate people. And I found myself always getting up the ass of fuck chops and shit heels all the time. It's like, come on, man, quit putting it on everybody else. Get out there, do this.
Yeah, because they would get people hurt. Well,
they were just causing problems and frustration, and And being in the military is really frustrating enough, you know, and then you got this extra baggage and you're like, oh my God. And the only way to get rid of these fucking guys is sometimes you got to cave in and promote them the hell out of your unit to get them out of there. And because you can't fire anybody. You know, the closest you can do to that is if it gets so bad, you can give them a field grade Article 15 and get them court-martialed.
Yeah. It's funny because like, so at one point they asked my my troop for volunteers to be like, I don't know, like the bodyguards for some colonel or some shit. In my unit, they get sent every shit bag that they had. So hopefully at least one of them will make it so we can get rid of them. So like whenever there is something like, you know what I mean? They needed volunteers to go and do this long ass like detail. Like they would just send the worst of the worst trying to get rid of one of them.
Yep. Yep. We had a guy like that just, I took him out and did what's called hands-on training with him one time. I beat the shit out of him. You know, took him out to the woodshed. And he seemed to straighten up for a while, but then he started falling back into the same bad habits. And we just eventually got him out of the unit, promoted him, and said there were no slots available for that rank, and he had to go.
Man.
And you do that, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to watching a little bit of this trailer.
We need to retake this camp. We don't have any air support, the manpower. Our men are trapped up there. Our ammo depot is 40 yards away. There's everything we need to stay in this fight. Let me do this, Sarah.
It looks very well shot.
Yes.
Rod Lurie knows what he's doing as a director. He's a very good director. We had him on, and I asked him a question that shocked him that I actually knew something about one of his films. I'm like, no, dude, I've watched all your films, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're a very good director.
I didn't watch the one about the woman. I was like, gross. Skipped it.
But I really do like him, and he should have gotten an Oscar nomination for this film. And
so should
acting in it was just a great freaking film. Great acting. That none of the cast got nominated. That it wasn't nominated for some of the effects that were in it. It's just a sign of how far gone the Oscars have become since the 2000s. I mean, I've always been iffy about them, but now they're just a garbage show.
Oh, yeah. I don't think a film like this would get nominated anymore unless it was actively, you know, shitting on the military. Then the Oscars might nominate it. But something that
like that piece of shit Tom Cruise anti-war film that they made back in the 2000s, Lions for Lambs or whatever the fuck that movie was.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're going to make an anti-war film, what you do is you make a really good war film. Because when you're brutally honest about war, it is in itself an anti-war film because it's terrifying.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest example of what we're talking about is Hurt Locker. Holy fuck. I can't make it 10 minutes into that movie.
Yeah,
before I turn it off.
I fucking love that movie.
When he talks shit to his senior NCO, I'm like, that guy would have smoked him in front of everybody.
Just
like smoked him.
10 minutes in, I am so pissed and irate at
that.
This movie.
I'll tell you right now, that fucking dude, that character, main character, Jeremy, what's his name played?
Yeah, Hawkeye.
Doesn't fucking exist. There's no such soldier like that.
No.
That guy going out of the green zone to go fight his own little war would never fucking happen.
Well, actually, I guess it kind of did happen, but he was just trying to take a walk to the next base.
Oh, that dude, yeah.
That dude in Afghanistan, yeah. No, but listen, that movie, man, like even because it got so much hate from the military, from like, you know what I mean, like serving in veterans, and the advisor, the EOD advisor, he came out and was like, well, you know, we couldn't have it like too accurate because the story came first, like the message came first, like that's what the focus was on, not whether or not if it made sense that these things happened, but it was the message and the story that needed to take. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that. If we ever interviewed that guy, I would call him out on that. It's like, look, I get it that you are supposed to lie a little bit to tell a story.
Right.
but you don't bullshit your fucking way through it.
No, and see, so
there are millions of veterans that are watching this. Millions. It's not like a small group. There are millions of fucking military veterans, millions of fucking combat vets that see this shit, and you're offending them when you do it. You offend every veteran when you do that. When you show the wrong light on a combat soldier, no matter what their MOS is. Be honest with what they do. The lie is in the story, not in what you have them do.
Right. So like even with like the Outpost here, right? They kind of mess with the timeline of like when you know who was there, and you know what I mean? But that's understandable. That's because they're condensing.
I did something
things.
like that with City of Fire when I wrote the original script for that. The story of Tomahawk, the 172nd, or no, the 72nd Stryker Brigade. They were the first strikers in Iraq, and it was a test, and it was so top secret that the military was afraid to let anybody know what the strikers were doing because they were afraid it might be a failure. And it was June 4th of 2004, and when that incident took place, where the mosque and police station were taken over by insurgents, and the Stryker Brigade went out in Mosul and took it back. And it was an 8-hour-long battle. Now, when you say 8-hour-long battle, what that means is 10-minute pockets of combat and an hour of just sitting there going,
yeah.
Do you think they're still there?
Even 10 minutes is like a sustained, like that's a very sustained,
sustained firefight is 10 minutes is a long one.
That's a long time.
It's just usually it's just sitting around with occasional moments of firefight. And that's what happened that day. And eventually, and I have the video footage of it, when they got sick of this one guy sniper up in a minaret, and they took a tow rocket and took out the minaret. And you see the guy fall out the other side of it. It's like, yep, there's one Haji gone. There you go. And the script to that took place over actually a few days, but we put it into one 8-hour story. It all took place in one day in the script. And Dale Dye ended up writing the final draft of that script for the screenplay. I wrote the comic book script, the graphic novel script, and he took my script and turned it into a screenplay. And he did even more. And his script was amazing. Dale Dye is a good writer, not just a good military advisor. He's a damn good writer. And he took all this stuff, but it was still, despite the fact that it was compressed, it was still true. There was no lies in this outside of the compression itself and some of the things that were said, because a lot of the grab-assery in it was just, we know how soldiers talk.
Yeah. And that's what he really nails in here. This is what, like, I feel like when you have someone who is a veteran who was like actually in, like, you know what I mean? Like in the army and around people, like it feels so much more, authentic, like with this. And I know it's a small thing to some people, but like the spit bottles meant the world to me because I've never seen, the closest we've ever had was in Black Hawk Down when Josh Hartnett did the Ranger tap on his can of Copenhagen. That was the closest we've ever gotten.
Yeah, and it's so weird when you see it the first time because I didn't chew, I didn't smoke. And I would see those guys, they would pop that damn can, and I'm like, oh, that's cool what you're doing there. And it's it is straight up military. I've never seen civilians do it the way soldiers do it. And if you see a civilian do it, you're looking probably at a veteran when they pop their can like that. But there's lots of little things, and we all catch it.
Yeah,
nothing annoys me more than a whiny combat medic.
I had a few. I had a couple of those.
Yeah, but they don't last long because the unit gets rid of them. We need guys because your job is very specific, and if you're not doing your job, this is a volunteer military, and you should not be pissing and moaning. You chose to be here.
I still picture Gary, sliming you in the nuts while treating your broken leg.
I was a dick in the military.
Yeah,
he would blow milk into
I did a
your
training.
IV.
I did a training FTX of other medics, and I got 4 medics from the group to come up on stage with me in order to show how to do a proper groin dressing for groin injuries. And of course, it was a bullshit thing. I was fucking with these guys. And I basically got 4 soldiers to stand up in front of everybody wearing adult diapers.
Jesus. I bet you shoved that tube down their nose too, like an asshole.
No, I'm always the guy that gets experimented on. I always volunteer for that because I don't want anybody else to have that shit done to them. I got stuck so many times with needles because I have no fear of needles. So
I'm not
everybody
a fan.
practice on me. And I've been catheterized, and I've had both I've had an NG tube and an oral tube put down my throat just so they could learn. And I puked.
Had a central line, like through the chest or whatever. That was fun.
It's for feeding or putting fluids into somebody. I also allowed somebody to learn how to do an enema with me. Because one of the first things you learn.
That wasn't
wait,
was it Stephen Walton?
Hold on.
Was that Stephen Walton?
Hold on. When you're in a combat situation, you have an injured soldier that may not have their limbs, and you have to put an IV in them. You do an enema. You give them precious fluids through the ass, and it is essential, or they will fucking die. Yeah. And it's true. It works because, you've heard stories about people taking alcohol up the ass and dying. The reason why is because the absorption of the liquid is really quick through the lower intestines and the colon.
Yeah, you dip a tampon in like vodka and then stick it up your ass.
Yep. You get really fucked up and you can die from it because the alcohol gets released into your system without being filtered by your kidneys. And
kidneys.
It fucks you up. And so that was one of the things, and I allowed them to use me during the training of this, how to do it. And I don't regret a damn thing.
It was just awkward because you were hard the entire time.
Look, they can't see you when you're on your belly. You just tuck it under your belt.
Oh, shit.
What?
Let's show him some love with the 120s.
You all right, mate? Come on, put your arms around me. You're not gonna die, okay?
RPG! Red platoon!
If you've not seen this fucking film, get it. Watch it.
It's on Netflix. Like, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's just what a great freaking movie. It's so intense. I won't watch combat movies with people because I get so emotional watching them.
Yeah. I bitch a lot unless it's good like this one. And then if it's good, then I'm pausing every 10 minutes
because I poke fun at Saving Private Ryan in the non-combat scenes. But Dale Dye, all the combat scenes are so good in Saving Private Ryan. And I had to get up and leave the theater twice during the opening battle. I'd walk out and then I came back in and I walked back out again because it's so intense. And and if anybody understands that, Dale Dye, because he is a absolute baptized combat vet in Vietnam. And in fact, if you've ever seen the movie Full Metal Jacket, the character Daddy DA, that was Dale Dye. That was his nickname, Daddy DA.
Oh, after I got out of the hospital when I got blown up or whatever, like my aunt and uncle, they came to visit me at the like there's a hotel next to the BAMC, to the Brooke Army Medical Center, right? That you would stay in. And like I could barely move as it was. But like the first thing I did was have my stepmom go and like take me to GameStop to get an Xbox 360 because they just came out. That was the first thing I did when I got out of the hospital. And my aunt and uncle, they brought me Ghost Recon Advanced Warrior 2, I think is what it was.
Oh, okay.
All right. And in that game, in the training, right? By the way, it's a weird game to bring somebody that just got blown up in Iraq. But anyways, so I'm playing it, and the training mission is like, all right, yeah, do this, do that. This is how you move. Okay, climb up on this this rooftop, grab this AT4 and blow up that Bradley. And so I did. and I'm sitting there, and this Bradley's on fire, and I was like, I guess to my dad, I was like, put Tiger Woods back on. I didn't play that game for like a year afterwards. You know what I mean?
Oh God, that seems like a really bad game to purchase.
Right?
A really bad one. Oh my God.
Yeah, they meant well.
Oh, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, just going to pick it up and be like, oh no, we're not getting this one. Let's get, I don't know, Crash Bandicoot. Let's get something with like running, talking animals. That's a safe bet, you know?
No, I guess picture them like, well, he is in the army. Like,
jeez. I could see that too from someone. You could just pitch them. Oh, well, he must like this stuff,
right? Like, oh, he's gonna love this military shooter.
Oh my God.
He's gonna bring up the fondest of memories.
Now, Steven, you've been quiet, so I need you to wake up.
Actually, I have been awake, and you cut me and Yeti both off when we were trying to make the Stephen Walton joke.
Oh,
because when you were saying, well, he had to deliver the enema, I'm like, was it Walton? What blend was it? What did he use?
I wasn't cutting you off because I was making a point, and then you guys were trying to cut in with your joke. And I apologize. Tell your joke now. No, tell your joke, Billy.
No, I'm
Everybody
actually
wants to hear your joke.
It's over.
It's not that. It's just I'm enjoying listening perspectives of what it's like to be on the battlefield.
Yeah.
How the realities and the connections that are taken to and from a film and how accurate they can be and not be. So I'm actually enjoying seeing not only the sides that were on the battlefield, but also seeing it from the enjoyment of how you look at the movies through those points of view. So I'm actually
everybody's learning. They're learning from you guys.
Oh, I'm not learning shit. It's Gary. What the fuck do you think I'm learning from? No.
It's sort of like when we you remember what I said the night we watched the movie Monster Hunter, how I made fun of that Ranger unit.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, it's like you're going into a haboob and you've got your fucking windows and hatches open. What?
On the military side of things.
And then they start doing cadence wrong, and that's really fucking annoying to any soldier. When you hear somebody doing bad cadence, it's like, we don't do cadence like that. Nobody does that.
But Yeti, check your Twitter DMs. The rough copy is sent to you.
Okay.
What were they doing cadence while chasing monsters? I haven't been the movie. I haven't seen the movie. Like,
what's your question?
Why was there even cadence in the movie if they were hunting monsters?
It's the opening, the stupid opening scene where this is just a pure masturbatorial fantasy for what's her name, the star of the film. I want to be a soldier, so make this whole scene about soldiers and show me in command of soldiers. And it's like just some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It makes no sense to the rest of the film. And they have them doing stuff that no soldier would ever fucking do. At least not no combat effective soldier would do.
Here's a question for you guys when it comes to the movies. It's the one thing I remember talking to my grandfather about. And the one thing that always happened is he had this hardcore 1,000-yard stare, and you knew
which
he
movie?
was reliving that.
Which movie?
I don't see that type of thing done well in the movies. So I'm wondering if you've ever seen it, a character portray that moment.
In real life, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm talking movie
1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, because real life, my grandfather, I was like, oh shit, I am not bringing up World War II at all with him because I saw that look and I didn't want to put him through that. So I didn't want to bring up any more, even though I was dying to know details because, he had a very interesting story, but that look.
I've had a couple of close friends who had it, and it wasn't something that manifests all the time. It's something that just sort of like you feel that they're looking through you. They're no longer looking at you, and it's they're off. Something's happening in their head, you know, and sometimes it's reliving something, sometimes it's just refeeling something. I knew a Vietnam vet that God, he would just sit there and just you'd be talking to him, and then all of a sudden he just wasn't there anymore.
Yeah,
in the conversation, and it freaked me out the first time I saw it, because I think I was 16, and I kept asking my dad, "Is he okay?"
Yeah,
freaking me out, man.
Well, it's one of those things when you see it, like, you know, there's something going on way beyond, you know, what you can actually comprehend. I don't even know how to begin to describe what I saw with him in dealing with that, but I never saw any movies get that right. It's something.
Well, Hollywood doesn't understand it. Their representation of PTSD all the way back to the Vietnam War, because that's when films started and TV shows started misrepresenting veterans by showing how dysfunctional they were. And that's not what PTSD is. PTSD is actually something that a lot of veterans use to become more effective in their businesses. Because you can, it has an impact. Mine, you know, when it manifested, I shut down because of it. But I've learned to use it, and now I don't shut down anymore.
I don't have PTSD. I was seen by 3 doctors, and each one of them told me, "Nope, don't have it." The last guy, I was like,
"No, Mad Mardigan loved what happened."
I asked the last guy, like, he's like, "No, man, like, I don't see any signs." I was like, "Did you hear the part when I was on fire? Because, like, I feel like," and he's like, "Nope."
Well, there you go. You know,
like, okay, well, fuck.
Well, it's like you got 3 soldiers that go through the exact same situation. 2 of them are okay. The other one's all fucked up with PTSD.
Yeah.
It's an individual thing.
Yeah.
My PTSD is not combat related. Mine is from a kidnapping, and you know, my kid got kidnapped, and all the others. I tell people, it's like, "Do you have any war stories?" I said, "All my stories are funny. I nothing bad happened to me in the military. I didn't see anything horrifying. I saw bad stuff, but not horrifying." Then I had my kid kidnapped, and I'm fucked up for the rest of my life, you know, and I got her back, but going through a kidnapping really does affect your mindset. And that's why, you know, I work a lot with my vet buddies who were combat related PTSD, and I get and understand them now better because of my own fucked upness.
Okay, so there was one thing that I came across in reading about PTSD and how it affects people, and one of the things that came up is, you know, basically, you know, Navy SEALs are those that are responsible for bringing the fight to the enemy. Generally, do not have the same levels of PTSD as those waiting for something to happen. So, like, the people that end up staying on the base are in a state of kind of perpetual fear because they're waiting, whereas people going out to take a fight, they have this level of control of what is happening to them, and so it's not triggered. Have you found that to be true?
That sounds like some like, I don't want to say this word, but I got to. Some pussy was sitting on the base and like, "No, you know what, guys? I think we have it worse than the guys that go out the wire, because we have to just wait." Like, it sounds like bullshit to me. You know what I mean? Because, like, I'll tell you this, like, going out of the wire doesn't mean like you're actively going after the enemy, because you don't know who is the enemy.
No, there's a lot of those guys that hit dry holes. Yeah, they'll go out and hit a dry hole, and there's nothing that happened.
We literally had one mission. It was we called it the Baghdad 500. Somebody kept getting fucked up in their AO, so they, like, all the surrounding AOs had to, like, volunteer people to go and just do a circle in the main part of their AO for like 4 hours or some shit, right? So we went out there for 4 hours, and then apparently, because, like, we were going into the morning, they forgot to schedule somebody, because, you know, time goes from PM to AM.
Were you QRF, by the way?
So everything rotated with us. Like, so we did we did like SKT, small kill teams. We did, like, you know, OPLPs on high priority targets that were getting ready to be raided. We had one place, I never had to do this this rotation, but like one place like out in the city, somewhere there's like this building that looked like one of the sand crawler vehicles or whatever that the Jawa use. Like, and they just did a like a permanent OPLP there. And then like 1 week we would have to do all the details, like be up in the towers, guarding the fob or whatever was such bullshit. You know what I mean? So it would just rotate. So it just depends on the week. But yeah, this particular one we had to sit out there for like 8 hours just doing a circle, just waiting on someone to blow up. Well, most of the time, like when we're not actively doing a raid or something like that, we were just driving around waiting to get blown up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like every turn could be the last.
Well, one of the things I've made jokes about in some of my writing is that a soldier's not a soldier unless he's doing soldier shit. And one of the things that you do as a soldier is just sit the fuck around waiting. And there's so much of your time in the military, especially in the Marines and the Army, is hurrying up to a location and then waiting for either something to happen or for someone else to show up.
Yep. Oh, yeah, to show up. Yeah, into like EOD, like waiting on that final formation. You're waiting on the first sergeant to come out of his office. You could be sitting out there for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting.
So, but, and that's just it. Movies tend to like to make it sexier being in the military. And there's just really a whole hell of a lot of just sitting around waiting. And you're not doing shit. You're fucking around with each other, getting yelled at for fucking around with each other. Stop with the grab-assery. You grab-astic piece of shit.
I think you just triggered an alarm with that.
Right?
Yeah, that's my wife's alarm. There you go. But hey, I want to go to the chat here because Keely Joel asks, speaking of dealing with PTSD in shows and movies, what are your thoughts about how SEAL Team deals with PTSD?
Is that a show?
Yeah, it's Borniaz, however you pronounce his name, that played
Michael
Angel.
Boreanaz.
That guy. And Canadians know how to pronounce it better than Americans.
Oh, Jesus.
But I like the show. I like the way they handle things. They've got a really good military advisor on that show, and he's in the show. He's one of the characters. And they've got a good team of actors. I like the depiction of soldier life, very realistic. I like their depictions of how one person deals with PTSD compared to the way another person does. There are those who evade it and avoid it. You get that with the new the black dude that plays the second in command to the team.
Oh, the
Bravo team. Yeah, he's now doing other shit now, more intel related, and he got kidnapped and he was tortured and he's doing avoidance with his PTSD. And then you've got Yanis, whatever his fucking name is. He deals with it in a wholly different way. He's more of an angry person, so it manifests in a different way with him. And then you've got the other characters who are a little more casual about it, which is really how a lot of the guys I know are. They're very casual about it. I've got a friend who I've had to talk down off the ledge multiple times because he'll begin to escalate because he had a TBI from an IED in a striker. And in fact, it was from day of that battle in Mosul. And I've had to sit on the phone with him and calm him down, bring him down, because he'll just start escalating. And it's really, you'll spot it. And veterans will know it. When we see it, we spot it. It's like, I know what's going on here. Let me handle this. I know how to talk to somebody going through this. And I learned it as a medic working at the VA. And you learn how to talk to these guys. And one of the first ways is to go through. You don't go around, you go through. And it's the same thing with PTSD. You don't go around it, you go through it. Yeah. And
I'm a big believer in, like, the more you talk about what happened, the
smaller
better
it gets.
Yeah.
The smaller it gets. It's a big problem in your head. And when you begin talking about it, that problem begins to shrink. And it's one of the first things I learned, in dealing with my own PTSD is the more I've talked about it, the better I do. And this is true with anybody with PTSD. And there is a difference between PTSD and PTS. And the disorder occurs when it affects your life, because everybody, can have post-traumatic stress. You can go through it in almost anything, but it becomes a disorder when it has an impact on your daily living. And once again, the way you begin to deal with it is to talk about it.
I tried lying to that dude and told him, I was like, oh yeah, when I see bags on the side of the road, I freak out. But he didn't believe me, probably because I said it like that. But
yeah, if you're too sarcastic, they don't buy it.
See,
I found that with nuns when I was a kid.
My PTSD is kind of different, but like there are still things that trigger it. I know it's not military related, but because of the amount of
it doesn't diminish it.
Because the amount of car accidents, the amount of cars that have hit me or vehicles that have hit me, like in certain vehicles, I can't even sit in it and it will trigger it. And I'll start shaking back and forth. I'll start yelling at the cab driver or the driver in general. And I freak the fuck out because it's not the vehicle. It's depending on how it's sitting on the road, how fast they're going. And I'm paying attention whether or not they're focusing on the road or their phone. And if they're not, I start losing my shit slowly and it builds and it fucking builds. And then I just lose my shit. And I had this happen once. I was having the attack when a cab driver got cut off. My cab driver got cut off by another cab driver. And then they started racing in rush hour traffic and then pulled over and started fist fighting in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck's going on right now? What the fuck? I'm freaking out. The meter's still on and you're fist fighting another fucking cab driver. Fuck this.
I've dealt with New York cabbies and
this is Toronto cabbies, bro.
But hey, going back to the and by the way, when you first told me about that, first thing that popped in my head is it just sounds like you're a bad pedestrian.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like a weight thing, like they just can't avoid you.
Yeah, it's like the first time you told me that, I'm like, how many times have you been hit? Jesus Christ,
16
what are you?
Separate times I've been hit.
You are a terrible pedestrian.
No, every one of them. Every one of them.
This is what went through my head when you first told me. I'm like,
yeah.
But anyway, I'm not making light of your stuff.
You're not. I know. You're joking.
Going to Sean Crummell. Movies always show the loud noise or random noise and then extreme close-ups and sounds of bombs as someone tries to get their attention. That's a Hollywood thing. That's movies.
I'll also point out he's got a super awesome channel everybody should check out. Hey,
what's that?
Sean. He's a great artist and he's got a great channel and people should check it out.
Sean, run fast.
No, he's a friend. I just wanted to make sure people hear about it.
Let's see. Fighting sleep and boredom is the biggest battle. Oh, so fucking true.
Yeah,
because in the military, they frown on you falling asleep while you're on duty.
Yeah, the Z monster is your biggest enemy. Like,
oh, it is. Let's see. Moving to the next one. Canadian Buffy fans know how to pronounce it better than my fellow American, but it's true. I hated Buffy, but I loved Angel. I love the character of Angel, and I love the show Angel. I just couldn't stand the show Buffy. Love the movie Buffy that came back in 92, 93.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm not surprised that the Oscars snubbed The Outpost. Most of those in Hollywood have no respect for him. Oh, that is just too fucking true. They like to play like they are, but they don't.
What I'm surprised by, like I forgot what the rating is for this on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it was actually a lot higher than I thought it was going to be because it is military and it's not like shitting on the military like what they usually enjoy. Yeah. But it has. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So
here I'm going to pull that up right now.
Well, the other movie that I think really got snubbed was Fat Man.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. I felt like it was a little bit like undeciding, like you know what I mean. It felt like the tones like would shift.
Yeah, they're being asked.
So there were a couple things I thought were a bit of a misstep, and one was that trailer. Because I don't think the trailer set up the proper expectations for the film.
Right.
And when I kind of got that out of my head, I started to like the film more for what it was. Because when you watch that trailer...
There's the score.
Oh, that is way higher than you expect
than what
from
you thought,
Rotten
right?
Tomatoes.
Yeah. And I'm one of the people that wrote a review for it. And I love that freaking movie. What an outstanding film. And Eastwood impressed me in this film. Actually, the entire cast impressed me. This guy on the left here, he's the shit heel, his character. And he was apparently awesome in real life. They make fun of him when you hear the interviews about how he acted. But when the shit hit the fan, he was 100% combat effective.
So is he still a shit heel in that case? If he's 100% combat effective?
When you're not in combat, he's a shit heel.
Yeah, okay. but that's not uncommon. Like I was a horrible garrison soldier. Like I got in so much trouble because like I can't have that much freedom. You give me that, you know what I mean? And again, the freedom is pretty limited. But if you give me like I'm gonna take advantage of things, right? But
see you, Sean.
Whether we were in the field or when we were deployed, it was an entirely different scenario, you know. And you would see that with a lot of things. Like you don't know who you are, how you're going to react until like you're actually in it. You know what I mean?
That's
You would see guys that were, you know, considered like high speed, you know, like just great at everything. You know what I mean? And then they get over there and they shit themselves the first time they hear that snap.
Yeah, it's like you almost finished the sentence. It's called high speed, low drag.
Yeah,
and you know, that's military life. High speed, low drag. That's how you are expected to be as a soldier. And I think every good soldier worries about only one thing: is doing a job and not fucking up and getting somebody else killed. I think that is the fear of every infantry soldier, is getting somebody else killed.
Yeah,
it was mine, even as a combat medic. It was my absolute terror that I would do something stupid and get somebody killed. And thankfully, nothing ever happened, so I didn't have to worry about it. But you know, I did do my job. Fat Man was a good film, but I'm not sure it was Oscar worthy.
Yeah,
it made my honorable mentions, and that's where I'm at. I love that movie, Fat Man. I love it, but to me, it's not really Oscar material.
Okay. So I went through that.
But what does Yeti know?
I did a roast. No, but the more I watched it, the more I came to like it. Like when I dug into the things that were being done in the movie, that's where I really came to love this thing. Although I did fully think that they should have had a setup with the young kid growing up to be the assassin, because I think that
where I thought they were going to go. I thought that was where they might go when I saw the trailer. But
the trailer is the worst thing about it. That's what it sets up the wrong expectation. And sorry to cut you off. Go on with what you're saying.
No, I agree with you. It's that was my only point. Is the trailer had me thinking that this kid grows up to be this assassin and wants to get even with the Fat Man. I still enjoyed the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
I love Mel Gibson.
So did I.
I'm a huge Mel Gibson fan. I don't give a fuck if people have an issue with that. I'm like,
We Were Soldiers.
Dicks. We Were Soldiers. Now, I do have a problem with We Were Soldiers, is that it felt like a Western rather than a war film.
I was fine with that.
It works because it represents the same situation with Custer. And I think they were going for that. But it sort of bugged me because it didn't feel like the war film that I felt it should be. But either way it goes, every performance in that film was outstanding. The combat was real. The only thing that bugged me was the close-up on the eye. I thought that was unnecessary to show the eyes going slack. It opens all the way up when you die.
Listen, the whole eyes being like, you know, somebody walking up to you and doing like the what is it called, the waterfall, like from Face Off, to close their eyes.
Yeah,
like that bugs me in every movie. But real quick, I just wanted, like, the way I've been describing like what it's like to be specifically for me, like in Iraq, it's like going to summer camp, right? Like you build those bonds with, you know, other kids or whatever, like, and they're strong. You're like, we're gonna be best friends forever. Usually when you leave, it doesn't last. But like, imagine the intensity of every moment like you had in summer camp, because you're cut off from everything, right? This is all you have, and just add in a whole bunch of bombs and dead people and death, you know, in a general sense, and bootleg DVDs from Haji shops. And that's basically like, that's a good like way of looking at it. It's like summer camp, but with death. Because like, so your bonds with each other, like that's why they're so intense, because it's only you guys, you know.
Yeah, and I've described military life as being. This is my exact quote. It's a lot like prison, just a lot less stabby and a lot less rape.
So I would say a lot less.
There's because I always say less. I don't say with no, because there were stabbings and there were rapes, and but the thing is you just don't hear about it as much and or see it. But I told somebody, like when I was put in charge of people, it's like being a gunslinger. You've got these fucking swear to God, man. These swinging dicks come in thinking, well, I should be in charge. And they're testing you and challenging you all the time. And half the time I had to take somebody to the woodshed was because, you know what? You questioned me in front of another fucking person. I'm going to fucking wreck you. And I knocked a guy out marching once. I spun and just knocked him out right behind me and turned back around and continued marching while he fell out. And nobody knew what the fuck happened at first. They're like, oh, that dude fell out in the middle of a march. I'm like, there's a time for fucking talking to me and there's a time to shut your fucking mouth. And so I tell people, there's a pecking order in the military. And if you're put in charge, you get challenged a lot unless you're an NCO. But I was always squad leader, which is an honorary, I'm doing the quote fingers, NCO. And it's constantly challenged by assholes.
I would like to take a quick moment before we dwell back in. This is a wake-up call for Keith. A wake-up call for Keith. Are you there, sir?
I noticed earlier, when Gary was going off on you and doing the same exact thing, and here I am just like listening, having fun, learning. And you want to clown me? You want to clown me?
That's right. I'm using my white fat superiority right now.
By the way,
I have denounced your silence.
You have to. You've got to respect my authority.
Lords of the Long Box is in here. Hey,
hey.
Buddy. What's up, man? God, I'd like to get him on here with us.
What I've been working on, and I just showed Yeti as well. I've been listening to you guys because it's awesome, and I already showed Yeti. Do you guys want to see it quickly?
Oh, it's very, very cool. And thank you, a big thank you.
I'm gonna add the audio growls later, but
yeah. Like I had no idea what you were asking me for. Yeah,
even the Yeti is breathing.
Yeah. So I've got more things I could send you because I had no idea this is what you were doing, and it probably would have made the job easier.
There you go.
Oh, that looks so cool.
I'll add a growl later, but you can use that as your people coming to your channel. You can have it there, so it can just growl. So you give the ambience that you have the Yeti watching. I have another setting I can use as well. That's it, Gary. But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
By the way, yes, it is. It's more like Friday the 13th than it's not. Like, we'd just be wearing our skimpy, like, PT uniform, hanging out in the barracks, like, just pillow fighting. And then all of a sudden, there would be mortars dropped in, like, Jason.
I do like that, by the way.
Thank you. I'm trying. It's actually 3 different videos overlapped. But, I was also trying to figure out, I forgot my question. God damn it. Get it off the screen now. I don't want people stealing my content. Get it off the screen. I'll do it.
I really like that animation. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Thank you.
I take back all those things I said about you.
No, you don't. You're full of shit.
Let's see. Cavatino says, as far as I know, there were no drapes in all my male
Here's an answer from Pinterest.
What?
Oh, are they going to give you prices on drapes?
No, they actually. They're going to probably tell you.
I think the best.
Full of shit.
I want to, and I've been talking to my wife because she wants to do small house living, and I said we should look at Connex because I loved living in Connex. I know a lot of people scoff at that, but I fucking loved it. I loved my little air conditioner. I loved my little area with my desk and my computer. It was nice. I liked my bunk. I loved my bunk mate. There were 2 of us in there, and it was just really nice. And I loved it better than living in a barracks.
I would just.
I hated barracks living,
dude. I got to get you on sometime, man. To talk because like I went to Fort Knox as well. By the way, for those who don't know, they filmed Stripes at Fort Knox.
Yep, at one of the old areas of the base.
Yeah, like the obstacle course that they did, like we still do that. Like those barracks they were in, we use those for different training stuff. What's funny is like in those old barracks, like above where the beds would be, it says like "Do not smoke in bed" because people are dumb and would smoke in bed and had to be told not to do it. Like on the fire extinguisher, it said like only used in case of fire. Used in case of fire. That's what the fire extinguisher was for. I thought it was funny.
No, I'm shaking my head. I'm like, yeah, I dig. Let's see. And once again, Lords of the Long Box, if you want to jump in, man, I sent you an invite on Twitter.
It's right beside the dick pic.
It's come on, man. I can't help it. I like sending them.
Well, at least you provide a magnified shot of it, right?
Recovery. I have to send dick pics.
But stop asking us if it looks infected. We don't want to tell you.
Like, it's okay. A lot of people in the world do have 3 testicles. Yeah, I'm sorry that you have 3 testicles. We're very sorry.
And by the way,
I think the other one's just like a giant herpes. But go on.
I watched Stripes the night before I left to the MEP station to swear in and all that shit, and I got to basic training and I'm like, this is nothing like Stripes.
you know,
and it's nothing. Like, Stripes is not what being in basic training is like, or AIT.
But you know what is though? Like one of the most accurate like depictions of it is in the Army now with Pauly Shore. I shit you not.
Yeah.
Drop the pin.
And they were medics, as I recall, weren't they in that?
No, they were. I think that basic was just like normal basic. Like I don't know, I forgot what they called it because I went to OSIT, but like that basic's like the generic basic like you would find, like cooks and mechanics, and Pauly Shore in the movie was a water filtration expert or some shit.
His job was to put the little ion, what is that stuff that you put on wounds? Iodine. Put the iodine tablets and check the quality of the water afterward.
I think so. I don't know, but like,
yeah, he would get the what do they call them? Cattle. Oh shit! It's been so long.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where it's
no.
It's a military
like
slang
tank, like a
yeah,
tank of water.
It's a water tank of water, and they call them cattle something. I forget what the hell it's called.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe.
And I've killed too many brain cells since I was in the military.
Water purification. Yeah,
and you would get these iodine tablets, and you would so many parts per million with the iodine, and that was part of my job as a combat medic was to check the water quality when we got it.
Shay got it. Water buffalo.
Yeah, water buffalo. That's it. And you have to check the quality before anybody's allowed to drink from it. And the iodine, so many parts per million, purifies the water and won't kill you or make you sick.
I don't think we ever had anyone check the quality of the water. They just gave it to us. But what in the Army now, what it felt like they sent like Pauly Shore and them to actual like basic training and just had them film and like just do bits. You know what I mean? But like basically they were in it.
Yeah, but Boot is so fucking funny. For basic for Army and Marines. The difference between Army and Marines is 2 weeks. The Marine Corps has 2 extra weeks of boot, whereas we have 8, they have 10.
And Jay and we had 18, but okay.
Well, you have what's referred to also as
OSIT.
Yep. And that's different. We also had 2 weeks because when you first go in, you what's it called when you first get there before basic starts?
Yeah, because I was in there
for 2 weeks.
I was in there for 3 months.
Yeah, we were there for 2 weeks, which seemed long enough because every sergeant in charge of you is either a failed drill sergeant or somebody who wanted to be a drill sergeant and wasn't allowed to be. Reception. We were only supposed to be there for 5 days, and we ended up 2 weeks because basic training group that we were going into got delayed by a week. So we got to stay with those assholes. And we had a guy that shit his pants getting yelled at by one of the sergeants. And I looked at this guy because me and another guy got picked to clean up his diarrhea while he had to sit and watch. And
Jesus.
And I looked at him, I said, dude, you're going to have trouble, man. If this freaks you out, it's nothing compared to what they're going to do to you in basic. And
God, that's
I was gonna say, like, I got to Fort Knox in July, and I did not leave until December, because when we got there, so this was in 04, so like they were just trying to get everybody they can in, and they brought in too many people, so we had to wait for the next cycle to start, and so I was there in reception for so fucking long before we even started.
And you remember that when you go through reception, one of the things you do is you have that moment where you're supposed to give up whatever contraband you have.
Yeah.
It's that grace night. This is your one chance. I'm like, I didn't bring drugs. I didn't bring booze, but I don't buy this. I don't think you're going to check a goddamn thing. And I didn't keep anything because I didn't bring any contraband. But when I was in basic, I bought porn.
Yeah.
And I found the vent. I could remove the vent from one of the walls in the shower. And because I was at Fort Leonard Wood. And I removed that, and there was an empty area in the wall, and I put the porn in there, and I rented it out to people. And I made $200 renting out Variations magazine. And that was a lot of fun, dude. I made a lot of money in the yard.
Well, that box was legit. Like, that's where I put my heroin before we started. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll clean up now.
Okay, it's time for me to stop doing drugs.
But no, like, yeah, we had on ours, like, we'd lift up one of the ceiling tiles and like tiles and put, like, you know, a couple cans of Copenhagen up there if we had it. Or like, I think someone got caught with it and like hiding it in a sock.
Yeah, one of the dumbest places is if you've got the metal bunks, slip it into the hollow pipe. I'm like, that's the first place they're going to look. Don't hide it in the hanging tiles. You've got to be smarter than the drill sergeants if you're going to hide shit. I never got caught.
Yeah, we didn't have base. We had 2, 4, 6, 8, like 8-man rooms. So not like actual open bays.
Something I always wondered: how do you deal with the people snoring? Because that would drive me insane.
I was not allowed to become a ranger because of that. I snore like a fucking wild animal. That's me with that Variations magazine in my bunk in the junior leaders room because we were squad leaders.
You see, when we had people snoring when I was doing like cadet garrisons on the bases and stuff for like summer and shit. I know it's not the same, but we actually were held up in the barracks on the military bases when we did our cadet exercises. If we had a snore, what we did is the next night we took all the springs out of their bunk. So when they went to sleep, they fucking fell right through their frame.
There you go.
And we even did it to our barracks officer. We did it to our barracks officer as well. He did not like that.
Now, do you recognize this, Mad?
Is that Keith?
No, it's not. But this is the mini PX that you have next to your company. There's always a mini PX next to your company where you get your haircuts done and buy other civilian shit. And they have a little area with a flag for you to take a group photo. And it's so cheap and chintzy. But I loved it. These were my guys. We were in our first week of boot there.
Your first week and you're already at the mini PX? Jesus fucking Christ. Che, do you hear this shit? You know how long it was before?
I was allowed to do a lot of things because when the drill sergeants found out I was an artist, they had me doing a lot of shit and I could take guys with me. And I got a lot of extracurricular freedom. That's my extra badge for grenade. That's my guys from basic.
I don't have a single picture from me from like basic.
I have very few.
I hated
and there's a picture of me and my late ex-wife. She died of cancer. We're with my sergeant at his house at Fort Hood.
And you were at Hood?
I was not. We were at San Antonio, but we left for a weekend with him to go to his place because he was at Hood. Okay. And that's my sergeant right there looking at me, taking his picture. That's me sleeping with my hand down my pants. And my sergeant took that picture. And this is, I loved it. That's my head right there. And that's one of my best friends right there. And that's my late ex-wife.
That's a rare photo without his.
This
head
guy
up
was
his
a,
ass.
this guy was a fucking buddy fucker right there. That guy was a buddy fucker. I couldn't stand that guy. I fucked with him all the time. That's me, my buddies, my two best friends, and my sergeant. Graduation night, AIT. And that's a photo that whenever John wanted to hook up with a girl, I'd show him of him drooling in his sleep.
Che, I forgot we even called it Disneyland, dude. I forgot all about that shit.
Yeah, Fort Disneyland or Dixneyland. Yeah, Fort Dix.
No. Specific, like there's a specific part of Fort Knox, like. Yeah. Sorry, we're.
Well, I know when Fort Dix existed, we all refer to it as Fort Dixneyland. That was an easy post. The hard post was Georgia because of the heat.
Benning?
Yeah, buddy. Ooh, I went down there once and I'm like, oh, you can have this heat. Fuck it.
By the way, real quick, like what we did, like we didn't have any bad snorers in our room because again, there was just 8 of us, but we had one dude who would just like in the middle of the night would sit straight up and just stare at the dude across from him. And he was still asleep.
Oh, okay.
And like it was the creepiest fucking thing though. Like he did it every night. So one night he fell asleep and we taped him to the bed.
Yeah.
And so when that time came where he was trying to sit up, like he started struggling and then it woke him up and just screaming. Oh man, we got in so much trouble. Apparently you're not supposed to do that.
I'm such a light sleeper too. So like anything in there would just I would never fall asleep.
Are you kidding? You would not make it, bro. Like I've used the MRE box, like the box that all the bags come in or whatever. I've used that as a pillow, Kevlar as a pillow. Like I could fall asleep anywhere.
Yeah. I am a light
exactly
sleeper.
Like that. And let me tell you one that I know you're gonna like this one. And let me remove the screen real quick. Stop sharing. We'd be in a cattle car. Because that was how we got transported a lot in the military, cattle car. You would get it's basically a cattle car, like on the back of a truck. And you'd have about 100 soldiers in there sweating and stinking. And I would get in and I would take my M16 and I would plant the butt of it.
Oh, shit.
In between my heels with my boot. And I would take the muzzle and put it inside my helmet. My chin strap would hold my head up. And I would just fall asleep. Like that with my M16 holding my head up. And they were like, dude, you can sleep anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. It's like cat naps are what's going to make us survive this.
Yeah.
Steal sleep when you can because you don't get much at night. And you get up at 0 dark 30 and you're doing shit and they have you busy all fucking day. You hardly ever get downtime. I mean, there's boring time, but you're always like if NCOs or COs go walking by, if your XO walks up on you, you better be doing something. And but my M16 helped me sleep a lot when we're transporting. I'd sleep during transport. Let's see. Do we get anything else down here? My brother is like that. Sleep anywhere. I hate him.
I can't do it now. Like now, I mean, I have to have everything off. Sometimes I have to have like a white noise thing going on.
Yeah.
Like
okay. So was it learned? Like, did you learn how to? Because that's the only
out of desperation.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's like I have to sleep with TV,
nightlight.
See, I can't sleep with the TV on.
I can't listen to music because I'm a drummer, and I want to interact with the music.
I want to sing along.
What I do is I put on like old comedies or old westerns, and I turn them down to where just my subconscious picks it up. I can barely hear it, and I'll sleep through that, and I don't have my nightmares. That's what controls my nightmares is leaving the TV on. But I wanted to tell you a story about this fucking guy. This guy's name is Goodrum. He's from Texarkana, and he was in my squad, and I love this guy. I loved him. We were all very close. We were a very tight-knit group. And I would fuck with this guy whenever we had leave. And I would always put him on extra duty. When we'd be leaving the post to go fuck around, he's like, "Why?" He asked me one day, he's, "Why the hell you always put me on duty when you guys are going to go do something?" And I turned to him in front of everybody. I said, "Goodrum, You're the only person I can fucking trust to get the job done when I'm gone. And then as we're leaving, Kyle Fisher, who's still one of my closest friends, turned to me and says, boy, I can't believe he bought that shit. And I'm like, I know, right?
You're an ass. Like that's one of the meanest things.
I was always putting him on duty right when we're supposed to leave. He would eventually come to the parties or whatever we're doing, but he'd be stuck there for like 4 extra hours after we left. And that's me holding him. Look, notice we're in our civilian clothes. He is not.
Such a dick move.
I know. I told you guys I'm a real dick. But there's my drunk sergeant right there. He's drunk out of his fucking gourd in that photo. We had just gotten out of a bar fight. And God, I love this guy. And that's me with my future late ex-wife. God, she was tiny. And yes, I'm a giant. I am shorter, though, than Keith.
You're shorter than me.
Keith says he's 6'2", and I'm like, fuck you, you're 6'2". And Travis and I measured how tall he was in the house. I'm like, does nobody ever measured you? You're fucking giant.
I'm 6'1", dude.
No, you're not. We measured you and showed you how tall you were.
6'4". You're both tiny.
What guy describes himself being shorter? I have never heard that before.
In the morning and 6'2" to under 6'2" by evening. I shrink during the day. My spine goes, I don't want to hold you up anymore.
Yeah, I'm 6'2", but I've never heard a guy like, oh yeah, I'm 6'1" when he's like 6'3" or something like that.
Yeah, I said that to you when you were in the house. We used to shoot. Well, we shot at my house the first year of the show, and we had him in there. And good God, he's like, no, I'm 6'1", and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm looking up at you slightly. Because I usually look at the tops of people's heads, and I'm like, I'm not looking straight at you. I'm looking up at you slightly. And he's, well, I'm only 6'1". I'm like, fuck you, you're 6'1". And we measured him. He's not 6'1". But anyway, I will show this one last picture. I love this photo. This is the mural I painted in our barracks. I was very proud of getting to paint it. And those are two of my closest buddies, Julian Fuller and Jones. I don't even know what Jones' first name was. And he's the guy I got into a fist fight over because some other soldier was fucking with him, and I beat the shit out of him for doing it. Like, you don't fuck with my guys. And
I want to go watch the Outpost.
Only he fucks his guys.
You know, sex in the army, they say is mighty fine.
Oh no! Listen, no, like it's look.
I always love my drill sergeant. He drills me good.
If it's not your ass, it's not gay.
It's not gay unless you enjoy it or do it more than once.
Like
it's not gay if you're staring at them in the middle of the night.
If it's in a foreign country, it's not gay. If it's in the back of a Bradley, not gay. We had a lot of rules to get around.
A different area code, not gay.
Yeah,
it's not gay if you drop your M16.
If the date is an even number, not gay. If
first Monday in the middle of the week,
right. And this is not anti-gay. This is not anti-gay because we love the gay community.
It's not just gay if they're a lower rank.
This is something that we talked about all the time in the military. And that was when I started saying that I'm gay for things, because I just, it's like, I'm gay for soldiering.
Oh, the army is probably one of the gayest things you could be in. Like, no joke. Like, people would show their balls, like their junk, so like freely. You know what I mean? Like,
I had a guy do that because I was a paramedic before I went in the army. Okay, and they knew that. And I had a soldier come up to me after a shower, buck fucking naked. And I'm sitting there on my bunk writing a letter. And he walks up and literally is a foot away from my face with his dick. Going, does this look right? And he's holding it. And I'm like, dude, don't fucking walk up to me holding your dick. The fuck is wrong with you? No.
I'm supposed to hold your dick while you ask me that question.
Did it look okay, though?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
So it wasn't infected.
He was getting chafing. We all got a little bit of chafing during, because you march all the time.
Yeah.
You know? And I think this is right after our first forced march. and he got some chafing.
You know, you guys did like training and shit
too.
Oh, I think the worst part is where they did rotations in cadets for us is when they were doing rotations. You had to do the commands in front of the full parade at closing hours before you got your free time. Imagine having your voice change at puberty while you're giving commands in front of 400 other people.
Yeah, my
Adorable.
favorite thing in the Army was dealing with reserve officers. They were my favorite bunch of people, them and reserve drill sergeants. In basic, I fucked with one reserve drill sergeant and got away with it. And my drill sergeant told him, he said, "You don't fuck with my top dog. You don't fuck with him. Kissel, that's my top dog." And so this one drill sergeant like walked up to me one time and he's like, he goes, "I hear you're 26," and because everybody was about 18 or 19. And I said, and you always reply the same way, "Yes, drill sergeant." And he says, "As you were, let's talk casually here. I understand you're married and have a kid?" And I'm like, "Yes, drill sergeant." And he's like, "Got any pictures?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I pull out my little Army Velcro wallet, makes that sound as you open it. And I pull out a picture of my girlfriend and my kid. And he says, "That's really nice. You want to see a picture of my girlfriend?" And I'm like, and all my squad are like sitting around me in little lotus positions. They're all like, "What is going on? Why is this drill sergeant talking to them?"
Yeah, this is not an experience I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I just kept going with it. Okay, so he's like, "You want to see a picture of my girlfriend?" I went, "Yeah." So he pulls out his wallet, rips it open, and pulls out the single most butt fucking ugly woman I have ever seen. She looked like she ate the ugly stick, shit it out, and ate it again. She had a big old square head, flat face, and I looked at it and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I've got that million thoughts going at once in my head, and I'm like, got to compliment something, got to say something nice. And I compliment the photo and I go, "Hey, that's a great photo."
That's a great photo
of an ugly person.
The lighting in this
great photo.
That photo really accentuates how ugly that bitch looks.
And at this point, I need to point out that all my drill sergeants were black. And at this point, and they were just the coolest motherfuckers I ever fucking met. And he looks at me and he's like, he goes, "Well, actually, that's my sister." And I'm like, "You just told me you're going to show me a picture of your girlfriend." I'm thinking it's in my head. And then you switch it up on me and tell me it's not your girlfriend, but your sister. And I couldn't help it. This is when my fuck ass comes out and I go, "Oh, so that's how it is in your family." And everyone in my squad were like this. And I looked at that dude, and I'm not shitting you. His eyes got so huge and his lips went like this.
Wow.
And his eyes got huge to where I could see the whites on the top and the bottom of his iris. And I put my hand in the shape of a diamond. I said, "I suppose you just want me to beat my face now." And he goes, No, we're cool. We're cool.
What?
And he turned around and walked away. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm sitting there and he has this look on his face. And I realized he was trying to fuck with me. And it blew up in his face.
Yeah. I felt like there was a setup the whole time.
But he was trying to fuck with me. And it blew up in his fucking face. And I turned and all my guys all of them were like, and I did the famous line from Mary Poppins, like, "Shut your mouths, you're not codfish."
Oh, wow.
Wait, that's from Mary Poppins?
Yeah, it's from Mary Poppins. And we'd all codfish when they were sitting there with their mouths open to what she'd just done.
Oh.
And that's a line that always stuck with me. And I said it to my guys right then and there. And then I had an XO of some sort. He was a second lieutenant. And you can always spot a reservist by their fucking lapels and their caps are all fucking goofy looking. They don't know how to fucking wear their uniforms. They really don't. And we're out on a tarmac, and I'm at permit party, and we're out on tarmac PMCSing a Humvee, and so I'm I'm just. What, do you know what PMCSing is?
No. Someone just sent me a Stevie Wonder meme, and I just lost it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that's all right. So I'm standing there with my guys, and we're all dressed down because it's we're at a wet bub level 4, I think, and so we're all wearing our t-shirt, our BDU pants, unbloused, with tennis shoes. None of us have rank on. We're not wearing a top. And so this lieutenant comes walking by, and I looked up from under the hood and I said, "Morning, Lieutenant." And he about faced and came back at me, and he says, "You have a problem saluting, soldier?" And I grabbed the cloth and started wiping my hands in front of the same guys, wiping my hands. And I looked at him. I said, "No, I don't have a problem saluting, Second Lieutenant. Do you have a problem?" I'm a fucking E2. He has no idea what my rank is. And this is where confidence comes into play with people. That guy snapped to and saluted me. A fucking butter bar.
Well, butter bars are dumb anyways.
Oh, they're fucking stupid as hell.
Real quick.
And he turned around and walked away, and you're like, "How do you do that?" And I said, "It's all about the confidence, man. That guy had no idea what fucking rank I am or any of you."
We had a reserve drill sergeant too. He was from Louisville. He had Thug Life tattooed on his stomach, had a gold tooth with a weed plant in it.
Seriously?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. You're not screwing with me right now.
No, I'm not screwing with you, dude. No, he was straight out of Louisville, man. He was something else.
God.
But third platoon had a reserve too. He was from the other side of Kentucky, where they talk like this, like real country, right? Like what you usually think of when you think of Kentucky. We were doing the voluntary blood donation, where it's not voluntary whatsoever. And we were in line, and man, Holyfield was his name. He was like two people in front of me, and he's talking to the drill sergeant, who's not our drill sergeant. He's from the other platoon. And he goes, "This is the real country one, right?" He goes, "Hey, drill sergeant, how many times have you given blood?" He goes, "So many times I can't even count them." And without missing a beat, Holyfield looks at him and goes, "Well, I mean, you can take off your boots if it would help." And the guy gets stops, and he goes, "Oh, you son of a bitch." Just lost his shit.
How do you take someone with Thug Life on their stomach seriously?
Oh, he'll smack you, dude. Like, no joke.
Yeah?
Like, I've seen a couple of get, like, this was right before they got way too soft. You know what I mean? Like, we still saw a couple of people get smacked, but he had this ab rolling wheel thing where like you have two handles on the side of it and it like rolls, right?
I know,
like you're on your knees.
Yeah.
And he was like, if anybody can do more than me, then I forgot what the prize was, right? So this one dude, he's down there, he's hitting him, and he's like one away from beating him. And our drill sergeant drops a fucking elbow like WWF right on his back to stop him from from winning. So yeah, he was cool.
But that doesn't mean you're tough. Just because you were able to, get a couple more ab workouts in, that doesn't mean you're going to be tough.
No.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
I have a question though.
What's that?
Did you guys ever play the M1 form pranks on any of the newbies that showed up, or did you guys have
M1
it done?
What?
The M1 prank. It was we every time when we were in cadets and stuff, right, and then doing like the basic training and then the leader and all that instructor courses. We were sending newbies. We call them herbs, the basics, right? We would send them to the medical tent or the medical building asking for their M1 form, and the M1 form was their masturbation form. So they go in and they constantly head the office like that form doesn't exist, and we just kept doing it over and over every year.
We had a couple who had go get an exhaust sample from the Bradley. And you give them like a bag to try to go and collect the exhaust. Because you got to test it, right? See if everything's cool with it. And there was something like a pricky 7.
Oh no!
And you'd like, hey, like go ask Sergeant First Class, whatever his name is, like go see if he knows if he's seen like a pricky 7 around. That was always fun. But
yeah, I wonder when Cavatino brought up the stress cards thing too.
Yeah, that was after
after my time too. It's like I was like, what?
No, that started with you people, by the way, and I do mean you people. Like the medics, that's where that shit came from. Mm-hmm. Fort Sam was like they did the stress.
We didn't have that when I was there at all. We had drill instructors when I was there, and we just treated it like normal. The only thing I got mad at a drill instructor for is I said, look, man, our advanced training really is about saving lives. And so please don't cut into too much of our research and study time. But I liked my drill instructor, and he was a badass. I fucking loved that. I did artwork. If you knew I liked you, if I did artwork for you.
We had a medic show up with a stress card. Like he was getting yelled at by one of our NCOs. That's a good one too. But because you still just tapping on this some bitch, and like every once in a while would mark it. Anyway, no. So we had a medic show up with a stress card, and he's getting like this torn into by some of ours, and he pulls that out, and our NCO was like, "What the fuck is this shit? Where the fuck do you think you are?" And just started ripping it up in front of him. And if for those who don't know, a stress card basically was like a timeout card. Like if you're
you can't talk to the soldier.
Yeah, like if you're
holding
getting
you
yelled
up.
at. Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
And I just laughed at it, like, what a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah.
What a stupid fucking idea. It just
that was made up shit, right?
No, it was real.
Fucking real.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was real.
That's when the military started going downhill for a while.
Oh shit! I thought I literally thought Mad was talking about giving that out to screw with people. Like, yeah, go get this to your sergeant because you're too stressed, just to mess with them hardcore.
No, like, yeah, he came to Fort Hood, man. He came to our unit. And first time he started getting yelled at by some real NCOs, not like what he had down at Fort Sam. Like, he pulled that stress card out with a quickness. Got it ripped up in front of him.
That's a real thing. Oh,
good. I'm glad they did that.
I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to this.
This is the age of the snowflake when it began. Just shameful. But
how do you do that in the military? You're going to get
and be able to look
at
and then look at the soldier next to you.
I do have a special announcement from Stevie Wonder shared with you there quickly.
Okay.
Oh God!
Thank you, Atlantean.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm going to hell.
Just bring your stress card.
Yeah.
See you later, Stephen. Thanks for showing up, man.
I'll go
Appreciate it.
Though.
It's a little known. It's a little known fact.
Wait! I thought you were talking about me. I was like, shit. Not you, Watton. Not you. Oh shit.
It's a little known fact that if you take a stress card and you get a reflective belt, a PT belt, right, and you wrap it around, it will, like, you hold it up, like, they're gonna stop shooting at you.
That's like Peter Griffin dressing like a clown in the middle of Vietnam.
You get your stress cards.
Yeah.
How did that? Okay,
but you have to have them in Arabic though for them to read it.
Can you guys please explain to me how that came into being? Because that entire story, I was under the impression that was a joke. That
what I
Mad
understood
was setting
is
out.
moms started that shit with their kids
How?
in the military.
What?
You're stressing my son out, and going to the military, going, we need to. My son is always stressed all the time, and that was how I heard that it got started. And
but it's a military.
Stress is part of the process. You know, they got to tear you down to build you back up to be a soldier. And of course, it didn't work with guys like me because, like, I had a drill instructor said this to me in private. Go, none of this shit phases you. I said, look, man, I'm not taking anything away from what you fuckers do because you're amazing, but you're nothing compared to my father. My father laid hands on me when I fucked up. I learned how to dress right dress. I learned all that shit. When I was first day in fucking boot, they used my Foot Locker to show how to dress your fucking Foot Locker because I already knew how to do all that shit.
They didn't use mine. my whole thing was like, stay in the middle. You know what I mean? Don't make myself a target. Don't be too far down the list. You know what I mean? So like, you know.
Well, that was my goal too. I wanted to make sure I didn't fuck up, so I don't draw any attention to me.
Yeah.
But in the process, because I already knew how to do all this shit, I drew attention to me, and that's how I ended up being a squad leader and getting pulled right into that.
See, even now, I have to pretend to be mediocre at things so like people can find me relatable. Like, I just kept that.
Yeah, I think I would fuck up because I'm too competitive when it gets down to things. Like, I want to win, and I want to win at all costs. I think I would just fuck up so bad with all that.
And you do, and you know, in the military, you've got some really podunk retarded people. Excuse
me.
Oh,
for sure.
Sorry. We had this one guy in the military referred to him as fucktards. And we had this one guy when I met him. He was my first battle buddy in reception. And I was really irritated because everybody kept calling me Joker and they called him Gomer Pyle. And I'm like, no, not going to have this Full Metal Jacket shit. Don't call me that. And so they started calling me Captain America because I'm so tall and broad shouldered. So I was like, thank you. But this guy, they called him Gomer the whole time. He was the dumbest dude I ever fucking met. And he was my battle buddy. And when you're in reception, you got to go through the whole shot process. And when you got your big rucksack, you write a number on it. And that is what they call. They don't call you by your name. They call you by the number that's written inside your fold on your sack. And this guy could not fucking memorize that number worth of shit. And I got really mad because I was doing push-ups all the time because he'd forget the number and I'd get dropped. He'd forget the number. I'd get dropped. And I'm like, I got to figure out how to save this guy. So during grenade training, we were on the bleachers just fucking off. And so I start telling this story about him and he's sitting right there with me as I'm telling the story about him. And everybody's like, he came in the barracks one time and he's like, in a panic. And I look up at him. I'm sitting with a bunch of other dudes. I said, hey, what's the matter? He said, I'm looking for my battle buddy. I'm his battle buddy, but he just fucking forgot who I am. So I said, well, what does he look like? And he goes, well, I think he's tall. I went, okay, he's tall. What color is he? Is he like my buddy here, the black guy? No. How about this Asian guy? Was he Asian? No, he weren't no Asian boy. And I'm like, you really need to take the boy off the exam. And then I went this whole, did he have red hair like my ginger buddy here? And he goes, no, he ain't got no ginger hair. I said, well, and then I stood up. Is it me? And he goes, yeah, it is you. Like,
oh
I
my God.
On him. So I'm telling the story about him and all the fucked up shit he did about I told him in order to remember that fucking number to open his wristwatch and write it under that and Velcro that back down. And when they call out a number, open it up and look at your watch to see if that's your number. Because if I get smoked because of you one more time, I'm going to kick your ass.
Wait, did he make it, by the way?
Hold on. So this guy's sitting there and he's like, sitting next to me as I'm telling the story about him and all the fun. Like, he was in the last of the line to get a helmet and he's got a flat head from being laid down as a kid and never picked up. And they gave him a helmet that was one size too fucking small. So it sat on top of his fucking helmet like a cartoon character. I'm like, how unlucky can you fucking be to be you? So I'm telling the story, all this shit, the helmet, the number. And the guy goes, man, that boy sounds crazy as I'm telling the story. I said, yeah, and it's you. And he goes, no, it ain't. I said, yeah, it's you. I can prove it. Open your wristwatch. And he peels his wristwatch open, and there's that fucking number I called out. He goes, how'd you do that? Like it was a magic trick. I'm not shitting you. He thought I just pulled a magic trick talking about him and had that number that I knew. His number. And he washed out.
Oh no, really?
He completely fucking washed out.
He had so much promise.
And I was just like, oh my God, you're gonna get somebody killed. And then I told you about that one guy I told that needed to get his head out of his ass. And I said, if they do what they've threatened to do, which they said they were going to pull us right out and send us to infantry and go straight into combat. And it was a bullshit threat. But I said, if they do that, I said, I like you, Hutchko. And that was his name, Hutchko. I said, you're a nice guy, but you're a terrible soldier. I will shoot you in the foot to get you out of our unit. I will shoot you right in your fucking foot. And then I told him, I said, when you get to permanent party, you better get your head out of your ass. They're going to fucking beat your ass. You are going to get your ass handed to you every fucking day. And I don't know whatever happened to him. We had a few fuck chops in our unit.
He's a sergeant major now.
Wouldn't be surprised. That's how they do it. Promote him out of there. And you get, and that's how you're like, what the fuck is with my XO? He's an idiot. Well, he got promoted in that position because other people got tired of him. But that's the Army or military, period, DOD. But We got Andrea. Is Andrea here yet? After an hour of calls, and we're still on Fascinating Service Stories. Cool. Yeah, Andrea wants to do a late night show tonight, which I'm fine with. I'll stream it. Andrea is so cool. We all like her.
She's one of the coolest people.
Yep.
Holy shit, he woke up.
Why are you Barry Whiting us right now? Look, what are you doing?
Well, I think I have a deep voice, and then he talks.
I love the sexy slither of a slithering snake.
Well, that's part of our greeting for Andrea
that explains the sheets behind you when you keep your camera on.
No, that's from white boys that used to give me a problem.
Yeah, I was about to say you have to put a little paper cone on top of it so it looks like it's a KKK guy coming in to get you.
Oh, that would be a great backdrop.
But you know what's not funny is we actually have people in the KKK in this area, and it's like it freaked me out when I found out in Springfield. It's like, what? Really? Yeah. It's a progressive town, really? Yeah. And people are like, yeah.
There was a guy that actually gave my family a problem for a while. That was, yeah. So,
and I met a Nazi. I met a real skinhead Nazi, and he was. I was answering an ad for selling a car, and I showed up, and the wife answered the door with her kid, and I'm like, oh, what a nice. And then the husband walked out, and I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not buying your car. He had like the Nazi shit on his neck, and and then like my buddy Mac moved right in across the street from him. I'm like, I warned him, you got a skinhead across the street. But the good news is I found out that the wife turned him in, and he got sent back to prison and was gone for, well, probably still gone. Murder.
That's good for him.
Don't
shave that head.
Yeah, it's like
you need to stop doing that. It sounds like you're taking lessons from the Bill Cosby School of Creepy.
just drink your
yellow pudding.
Wait, you like taste my yellow pudding?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Cavatino said my troop in OSUT had a guy that was recycled the day before graduation. The idiot signed up. There's 6 years active duty.
That's rough, dude. You go through 18 weeks, and then the day before graduation, you get sent back.
Oh, there you go. Deanna's saying nice stuff about you, Keith.
Well, there's a reason why I'm allowed to be your friend.
You're black?
You got to have one.
Got to at least have one.
Yeah, if you want to have a YouTube show, you have to have one black friend.
Thank God I'm step black, man.
I'm adopted. Yeah, it's like growing up. My closest black friend was Victor, and I've been trying to get him on the show because we have so many stories from growing up together, and I've been wanting to get him and Keith together so they could talk shit about me because I like it when my friends talk shit about me. That's the true sign of a friend, in my opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong. The true sign of a good friend is someone who talks shit about you to your face.
No, you're wrong. Like a good friend will support you and be nice.
I now don't believe you. I think that you are one of those fake soldiers.
I bring in my brothers.
Stolen valor. Stolen valor.
All my brothers seem to like you a lot. So.
Hail, Andrea. She has joined the conversation.
How are you, Andrea?
Hi, I think I just heard something. I can't. Okay, I'm going to get off and come back on because I can't hear you guys.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I got to get going, though.
Well, I let this go extra long because I'm hoping that Doc and T-Shirted can join us. But Matt, I'm really glad you joined us. I love talking about that stuff. And just as a reminder, Pop Culture Minefield came into existence as part of Dangerous Nerds. And Dangerous Nerds was a group, and it was a popular group on Facebook that I created for veterans who are nerds. And not only do we know everything about World of Warcraft and your damn wizard shit, we also can...
I just rolled a 3. I just for not caring.
We can blindfoldedly take apart and put back together an M16 in under a minute.
Wizardry shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just because every nerd has their thing. I'm not into the wizardry stuff. I'm into sci-fi. But a lot of the guys on our World of Warcraft, and like my BFF Jim that I grew up with, who's also decorated disabled veteran. He's a producer of our show, this show, and he absolutely one of the funniest dudes, smart dude. Jim's talked to him, and just one of the most down-to-earth guys when you have a conversation with. That's how we became best friends. But he has a great sense of humor about the military, and he likes the jokes and shit that I tell, because we served at the same time. There's Andrea. Hello.
All right, I'm gonna go. Thanks for having me on again, man. It was a lot of fun.
Hi.
We'll have you on again, okay, man?
Oh, for sure.
All right, talk to you later. So,
how are you today, Andrea?
This is like listening to the dial-up internet. It's like I don't know how well you guys can hear me, but
we hear you fine.
I'm just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. I'm in the car, obviously. I don't know if you can tell that. Louisville, yeah.
Louisville. Right. Yeah, we were just talking about Louisville.
But were you? You're not saying it right. You're saying it all wrong, man. No, it's
Louisville.
It's Louisville. No,
it's like
too much.
Like Lebanon, Missouri. It's not Lebanon, it's Lebanon.
Or Cleveland, Missouri.
But yes, Andrea lives in Missouri.
And my phone is.
What?
I do not live in Missouri, my friend.
Oh, I thought you were here.
I'm traveling right now.
I thought you were up in Kansas City.
Nope, I live mostly in Costa Rica and Washington D.C. So I'm on a long. My daughter goes to school in Iowa, so I
grew up around D.C.
Did you? Where?
Fredericksburg.
Are you kidding? Fredericksburg.
Yeah, I love Fredericksburg.
I think this connection is too terrible to stay. But I have a very, very important question. I need to know the difference between a fuck chop and a shitheel.
A shitheel is somebody who just doesn't want to do their job, and they don't care how it impacts another fellow soldier. They don't care. Shitheels. Fuck chops are people who are just too dumb to do their job. They're not good at it. It's like even worse than that is people who are uncoordinated and constantly are breaking shit or walking into you. Fuck chops are just dumb soldiers, just not worth their weight in gold.
Can you be both? Can you be like a?
Oh, I've seen
a shit chop.
I've seen. Well, no, he's a fuck chop shitheel. And first time, fucking pork chop is what that comes from. It's a shortened version of fucking pork chop. And look that up in old military slang. And I love military slang.
Me too. I love listening to these stories because I'm like, it's like decoding something at the same time.
Yeah, I started a company with a bunch of fellow veterans back in 2006, which included three celebrities, veterans. One was Dale Dye, and the other one is best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author John M. Del Vecchio was one of my partners, and then Tom Waltz, senior writer for IDW, and who's still one of my closest friends. And we started a company, and they said, "What are we going to call it?" And I said, "Charlie Foxtrot Entertainment." And they started laughing, and they said, "Perfect." And that's what we called it, Charlie Foxtrot Entertainment. Now, that's military slang for clusterfuck.
Oh.
And any military veteran would start laughing if you said that was the name of your company. And they would go, awesome.
I use the word foobar all the time. Foobar is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's pretty. That one got well known thanks to a little movie with Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. I don't know if anybody remembers that little movie.
Oh yeah.
but he used foobar in it, and because of it became part of the popular lexicon. But foobar is something that came out of I think it was World War II, but it might have been Korea, which means fucked up beyond all recognition.
Yeah.
And I always loved it like that.
My dad was Air Force. He was out by the time I was growing up, but he uses a lot of slang like that too. You know, it makes me. It's nice.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna jump off, but I hope we'll talk more later.
Yeah, we can stream later tonight, and you just get with me on Twitter, and we'll hopefully Keith. It's weekend, so Keith should be able to stay up a little bit, for God's sake.
And hopefully I'll be traveling this weekend myself. I'm gonna go see my twin brother, and I'm sure you've made a fan out of him big time.
He's gonna go check to see if they still look a little bit alike.
Why did I picture Keith say I'm going to go and just look in the mirror all weekend for my twin brother?
Yeah, I love his family. They're so cool. I want to meet more of them. You know, because Keith is part of my family, so therefore his family is adoptedly part of my family now. And
man love is so cute. I love it.
Well, it's like I take my friendships very seriously because I love my family, but I don't like them, so I don't really have anything to do with them. I love my nieces and nephews more than anything. My siblings, God, I love them, but I don't want to talk to them. I really don't. And so my friends become my family. And
family
I'm very
choice is a real thing, like that tribe thing. I hate to use the word tribe, like I don't want to be all appropriate or whatever the fuck, but
how not lefty of you.
That's really I am not a lefty, my friend. It's a shocker.
I know you're not.
Considering
instantly
my
canceled.
I'm not a righty either.
Keith is a liberal. He is not a lefty. There's a difference. And he's an old blue dog Democrat, and that's why we get along so damn well.
I just hate the parties. I think the parties are the problem. Both.
I have a problem with that too, because I'm not a Republican, but I'm conservative.
Yeah. Fuck all that noise is what I say. Says the political reporter.
Yeah, Andrea. Fuck all that noise. I like it when women talk all big boy. Fuck that noise.
I get you kind of hot.
Talk all big boy.
I'm just messing with you, Andrea.
I love that.
You
I'm
know,
gonna quote
like,
you.
I come off as a sexist so often because I get bored with women talking to me.
Don't.
But not all women, but a lot of women, because they want to talk about things that are frivolous or not interesting.
Oh my God!
But then, no, fuck you. I'm honest about this.
You know.
But then there are these women that fucking break the mold and prove that not every woman is vapid, and I love that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to get hate mail. Fuck it. I don't care.
I just like to point out I am not associated.
People that love me are with me. But Andrea is like
that's my brother Gary.
He's gone so all robot on me that I'm gonna drop off and I'll listen for my answer on the air. But I just you've said things like that before, and I have some thoughts about that whole chick thing.
Let's talk about it later.
Sort of random thoughts that I've had. We'll talk about it in another one.
Get in and punch me later. All right, Andrea. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Hardcore, bring it. Bye, guys.
Bye. She is so fucking awesome.
Oh,
and I like Kate too. Kate's in our chat, and she's really kind of cool.
The thing I find the most fascinating is how much you love man love.
No, I do. Look, I'm not in. Like, I've never had seriously. I've never had a gay thought in my life. I told a friend one time. I said, if it weren't for all the oral and anal, I could totally be gay. Just hanging out with guys all the time. Because but my wife, she's different. I can have great conversations with my wife, and just God, and my stepdaughter too. She's a sharp little thing, and my daughter's amazing. I love talking with my daughter. But I've had that happen where I'm just like, I'm like Keith during an episode that goes too long, where I'm like, yeah. What were you saying? Totally, yeah. Nod. Oh, I heard what you said. I'm not
hiding any bodies. Don't look behind the sheet. Don't look.
Don't look behind the sheet. Keith, I only pick on you because I love you so fucking much.
I understand. Like I said, I love my brother Gary. So.
But getting back to it, I guess I was kind of hoping by now we'd have the guys. I don't think they're coming.
Well, maybe your grip isn't just good enough.
Well, Doc,
like spit a little.
And it was at that point, Your Honor.
At that point, the show ended. YouTube canceled them. Yeah, hold on. Deanna's saying something. She kind of likes talking to me too.
Men are
Hi,
talking.
Deanna.
And then, of course, Kate says, I agree, Gary, 100%. And then she says, I'd rather hang out with men any day. And that's the kind of women I prefer hanging out with, is women who are comfortable hanging out with men. Not trying to be sexy. I'm just talking about just having a conversation and know how to talk about things. But that's how I am with people in general, because I cannot stand people who don't know how to get past stilted conversation. It's like I have no room for people to go, so the weather's been great, right? Like, oh man, shut up. You can't talk about something personal with me. Because I do that, and I know each one of you has had that experience with me, where I begin sharing something that I'm sharing something very personal and intimate about my life. And I do that to let you know that I've welcomed you in, and you are allowed to do the same with me.
And I will never tell anyone how big your ass herpes is. I will keep that a secret.
It's anal herpes is a thing. There should be a charity out there for it. I would give constantly. It has such an impact on me pooping. I can't share my feces with fecal philiacs because of the risk of giving them herpes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you get treading in that territory and see how long I don't fucking go with it. I will fucking go with it, Yeti. You start a joke with me, I will fucking go there.
I think the missus has
fear nothing. I don't.
Okay,
I'm not afraid of anything.
I'm gonna stretch. Make sure I wake up a little. Let's get.
I once because my daughter asked me, are you afraid of anything, Dad? I said, I'm afraid of losing your love. That is it. Nothing else scares me. Just don't care. It's like, it doesn't faze me. I laugh about it. It's nothing in this life. I've stared down the evil end of an AK-47 and walked away from it. And I'm like, that's cool. I didn't die. Awesome.
That's what makes you a great dad.
Well, and Zoe, when she was little, she was terrified of monsters, and she stopped because I told her, I said, baby, haven't you ever wondered why there are no monsters in your closet or under your bed? She said, no, why? I said, because they know I eat them. I love monsters. It's one of my favorite things to eat. They're terrified of your dad. She goes, oh. So she was never scared of that shit. But it also backfired on me because I raised her so brave and bold and ready to step into anything that she would answer the door when I wasn't in the room if there was someone at the door. And I'm like, that's not cool. Stranger danger. I got to get it into her. And so Max solved that problem by putting on a hood.
Oh my God.
It was a horrifying mask he made. It was a sandbag, burlap sandbag, and he tied X's in and put black makeup in there and X's for the mouth. That thing freaked people out when he had it on. So he goes out like he's going out we're on the second floor of our apartment. He goes out like he's going to smoke, and then he climbs off the edge and goes around and knocks on the door. And I'm already in the bedroom waiting for this to happen. And he knocks on the door, and so he just goes, door, and she runs to the door, 4 years old, just throws open that door, sees him, and she shuts the door and locks it. And I walked in, I said, was someone at the door, honey? Yeah, and they're not right. What do you mean they're not right, honey? There's something wrong with them. So I walked over, opened the door, and at this point, I'm giving Mac the time to climb back up onto the balcony. And he comes in, he goes, hey, what's going on? And I said, somebody knocked at the door, and Zoe answered it, and it freaked her out. He goes, really? What'd they look like? And she described it. He goes, that sounds scary. Maybe you shouldn't open the door when nobody's in the room. She says, yeah. And she never did. Not again. Ever. And she loves that story.
How are we supposed to respond to this?
It stopped my kid from opening the door to strangers.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't. It fucking worked. I didn't have to touch her. All I had to do was scare her. And I didn't do it. Mac did. I was just aware he was going to do it.
There you go.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's on my channel sometime. Yes, I would love to do that, Andrea. You are so awesome.
You know, we haven't touched on the nerd stuff this time. We've really gone into the real
it's kind of
world
nice
thing.
to focus on the military thing because, like I said, I started this as a military themed thing.
Yeah.
But when Keith joined me, I'm like, I can't do that, because you're not a veteran. So I feel that it infringes a little bit on that, and I don't want my buddies, vets that are part of Dangerous Nerds, to take umbrage with it. But he's very pro-veteran. So I'm like, let's make it part of the pop. We call it Dangerous Nerds Network, and Pop Culture Minefield, part of the Dangerous Nerds Network. And I felt that was a safer way to go, even though I really
and I'm very honored by that. That's the thing. It's part of the reason why it is an honor to do this with Gary. This is not something that I take for granted at all. And again, I'm still very much in awe of Gary because he is so gregarious. He is so full of life, but he's also one of the most down to earth people you'll ever meet. So,
well, because like we've talked about it ad nauseum the last few days, Steve and Yeti and I and some others, that I'm what's referred to as an INFJ in the Myers-Briggs test. That's an introspective feeler judge, which means I always weigh situations or people. And basically, as an introvert, though, as an INFJ in particular, we only make up 2% of all human beings on the planet. They believe that is actually how few of us there are. And we're odd animals because we could be mistaken for being extroverts because we're outgoing. But the fact is we also require the downtime to recover from that, which for me is usually 3 days to 5 days, which that we talked about that recovering from conventions in particular. It could take a whole week if it was really packed. And
I've never figured out what I am, but I mean, that's about how long it takes me.
You're an IN something.
It takes you a while to recover when you get pounded.
Yep. Because Keith has had to do that too. So I guarantee you're an introvert and introspective. What's that, Steve?
Oh, he said when you're getting pounded. I said, yeah, by Gary.
I'm a power bottom.
How do you know I like it in the rear?
In public.
His nickname for me is
INFJ is not. Yeah, well, it's rare to begin with, but a majority of INFJs are women, and that's actually true.
INTP, which is 1% higher than you.
Yeah, you are an introvert, introspective thinker, judge.
No, perceiver, not judge.
No, her.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
Screen. Jesus Christ.
Me.
Kate isn't. Yeah, he's always talking about himself. What is with you?
He's always as bad as T-shirt going about the Hispanic shit. Like, we don't already realize he's fucking Hispanic. Like,
we were all talking personality. We're like, oh, I'll share mine. We're like, no, fuck you, Yeti. Okay.
You're a fictional Wampa. We don't know who you are.
Speaking of people who cannot stop talking about how Hispanic they are. Hey, T-shirt! We weren't talking shit about you at all.
What? Did you guys hear about the Hispanic we brought on? Just so we had a token black guy and a token Hispanic, just so we could cover both sides of the country.
But we're still on toxic
and a token
Cuba. It's like Cuba. We got you.
Hey, T-shirt, you and I ought to have our own show and just call it the Token.
You can spend it. Oh, dude, you can literally just do an hour of going, I'm Hispanic, I'm black.
On the show.
Actually, we can get rid of Keith now because I'm both Hispanic and black. So.
Wait,
wow, are you taking away his black card?
That's right. I cover multiple areas, and if I'm ever disabled, I'll also count as handicapped. So you'll have all your bases covered for.
No, disabled and handicapped are different.
Oh,
nice try.
Okay, I'm handicapped though. Oh no, disabled.
You're handicapable.
I'm handicapped.
He's an ableist. What are you talking about? Okay, he's an ableist.
And by the way, I'm glad that Kate said that I'm a unicorn. Does everybody remember when Doomcock dismissed me when I brought that up? What unicorns are in society and what they mean in cultural speak. Keith was there, so I hope to Christ you remember when he said that. He just dismissed it offhand. He goes, whatever, that's just silly, Doomcock. I love Doomcock, but he's so full of shit when it comes to Blade Runner. It's like, but anyway,
Gary is the president of the Blade Runner fan club.
No, founder.
So, founder.
No. Gary Willoughby is the president of the fan club. I am just the original founder. That's all I am.
Oh shit! This just in. The administration of the Biden has suspended multiple White House staffers for marijuana use, despite initial promise that would be.
Why is that a thing? That makes no sense.
Oh my god!
That shit.
That's just dumb.
Like weed is the least of anyone's worries.
It's so much better than booze.
I think he'd be more focused on his balance on stairs than what people smoked last
Okay,
week.
Let's stop. I already made that.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. What falls downstairs and rolls
We got Keith
cares.
in the room. Keith is a Democrat. Let's respect
I am sorry, Keith. I'm sorry.
Wait, Keith, are you an actual Democrat, or do you just have a lot of Democratic leanings?
He's a blue dog Democrat.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. I wasn't trying to be rude.
He and I have had some great conversations about politics. We've never had an argument, not once. We don't agree on a lot of things, but he and I respect each other when we talk about politics because we understand that it's somewhere in between, and we've forgotten how to do that.
Yeah,
as a culture.
The only person he accepts stumbling around is Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
you're such a scumbag, Yeti.
Well, then I guess I'm somewhere in the middle.
That was a good joke. Come on.
But, I'm neither Republican nor Democrat nor Libertarian. I'm just kind of like, I want
just
food,
let me have my
clothing,
job and
shelter,
make my money and have sex.
That and everybody can have firearms. That's fine too.
Yeah, I'm very much about everybody. That I think the best society is when every single person has a gun.
Yeah, armed society is polite society.
What's that saying about cult? God made man, cult made man equal.
Yes.
I have to tell you guys what just happened. Like as soon as I made that joke, I had Steven's video on the background and it just loaded. So then as soon as I made that joke, there's this growling in my ears. I'm like, what just happened?
I told you I was going to put audio in it.
No, but I didn't see that it loaded and started playing. So I just made the joke. It was like something hated me. I'm like, where is this growling coming from?
I forgot.
That was me hungry. But let's see. Kate says I can't stand Doom's voice.
Who's Doom?
Doomcock.
Oh, really? Oh.
And then she says, I agree, Gary. No, I like Doom. I like his show. I don't know. Look, you can't prove any of the stuff that he talks about because it's rumor.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think that he's been right almost about as much as he's been wrong. And
70-70.
Yeah. Where'd you learn fucking math?
Canada, eh? Because I'm handicapped and disabled.
Go drink your maple syrup and
Don't
go play
yell at someone on the street that you're Hispanic.
And kiss, kiss, bang, bang. Who taught you math?
You want to touch my burrito grande?
Actually, I refer to it as the chimichanga.
I would call this the limp churro.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. What the fuck? Was that?
Keith's phone's ringing. Hold on.
Let's listen in. He's getting yelled at now up the stairs.
Yeah, his family's disowning him after that joke.
It's like Mark Levin. Who's Mark Levin?
Is someone eating cereal?
No.
I don't think so.
I just heard your hand go into the box, and then I heard chewing.
You did not.
Well, that's not me, because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I did.
It is not me.
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
It's not me, but it's going to be me in a second. Here we go.
You may be hearing my dog chewing on a plastic bottle.
Yeah, this guy is complaining about my math, and he can't even open a cereal box bag.
Oh. Well, give him a break. You know, he's a senior.
Can't hear shit, Gary.
That's a good thing.
This is keto cereal. I tried it out. It's actually pretty good.
Keto is good shit. It works. I lost like 50 pounds on that. Then I met Steven and got it all back.
But let's see. Anyway, he's fine, but it's like Mark Levin. I can't stand the voice. Mark Levine. I know who you're talking about.
Mark Levine.
He's got to. I got to tell you something though about that guy. Nobody rants better than that fucking dude.
You haven't heard.
He gets so shrill, and that voice gets up there really high, and I'm laughing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's saying great stuff, but oh my God, that voice.
You got to find me something to rant about. I'll show you a rant.
But I'm kind of hoping Doc's gonna get here. I don't see him. So I got a message.
Soon. Well, listen, I gotta check out.
God damn it! I just got here, Keith.
I know, but you can take over, and you know.
Well, we're at hour 3 right now, and it's time to go. Get the fuck out of here, Keith. Go have a life. I'll check back with you a little bit later.
Okay, everybody, be safe. Brother Gary, I will talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take care of my fellow token.
See you later, brother.
Bye.
So, and then there were 4. This is like an Agatha Christie mystery. Where's everyone going? One of us is the murderer. Murder most foul. So I'm hoping Doc is going to show up because, like, he said he would show up, and I'm like, that fucker's not here.
I would have been here earlier, but I was busy fucking around with technical equipment. So
and worshiping Satan.
Yes,
Satan?
yes. Yeti is convinced I'm a Satanist. So.
Oh my God, this is never going to go away now.
No,
and it never should. It'll be funny for 40 years.
Yes.
Till we all die. Remember that time Yeti thought I was a Satanist? Yeah, God knows I've done a few sacrifices for the Lord Beelzebub.
Yes,
but I was concerned for my goats in the video.
I was just dipping my toes into it. I never became a
let's
full
get one thing clear.
Satan.
Let's get one thing clear though. Whether I be a Satanist or not, we don't burn crosses. Okay, that's somebody else.
I'm going to tell you something I did when I was in fake college. My roommate and I.
Fake college.
My roommate, Mangy was his nickname. He accidentally had a conversation with a Jehovah's Witness that lived on the hall.
Oh my God.
And invited him to come by. The guy wanted to come by and talk religion with us.
Oh, no.
And I got so angry that he had agreed. I'm like, you're too nice. And so I said, fine. So I went and I bought a fake sheep from the toy store on the Duke of Gloucester toy store in Williamsburg. And I went in there and I bought one of their toy stuffed sheep, and I brought it back and I bought a bunch of red wax candles, and I bought this cheap, like for nothing, snake-looking knife. It was a real long knife and it had an S shape to it, and so I put red wax all over it, and we cut holes in sheets and put the sheets on. And when it was time for this guy to come by, he knocked on the door. I told Mandy, go ahead and answer it. And I had red wax all over this sheep. And I turned to look at the guy as he comes in the door, and he stops dead in his tracks. I said, oh, you're here now. Great. You're in time for us to talk about our religion. Worship the Lord Satan. And I started stabbing and looking at him and smiling, stabbing the sheep.
No,
And
that's not offensive. People expect that. What you should have done was put on the gimp suit and said, oh, it's time for the orgy. Because everybody knows that's what Satanists are really all about, is getting pussy.
Yeah. So I did that, and it was funny, and drove him out. He ran and wouldn't come back.
Funny means everybody laughs.
There were only 3 people involved, and 2 of them laughed. Myself and Mangy We thought it was funny. And anybody I told on the hall were like, dude, that is so fucking psycho. I heard what you did. And it's like, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do.
You were such a wild man back in your
40
younger
years
days.
of fucking with people. That's
I shared the finished product since we're waiting. So you can understand what your Yeti heard and got freaked out by.
Yeah, as soon as I told the joke.
Oh.
Do you want me to share it on the screen?
It's down there in where our faces are underneath us.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
So that was the growl after I told the joke.
That sounds like one of my farts in the middle of the night when I've got the blanket over me.
Actually, it's my belly after Taco Bell. That's pretty much.
I like
what
it. That's the sound I make when I'm.
That's enough of
having
that shit.
Bastard. That'll be $50, Yeti. $50. Just...
All right. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes. Let's talk about something and then wrap it up. So,
do you think Falcon has promise?
I do. I enjoyed that first episode.
Me too. I loved it.
I particularly liked Winter Soldier scenes. Though that was really good. I had some issues. Like I can't remember who brought it up earlier that didn't like. Was that Mad that said it? Didn't like the sister, the way she acted.
Yeah,
and I agree. That bothered me, but I understand the dynamic, and it's a good dynamic that he's trying to save his sister. Well, their family business and their home.
It's also good for the fact that they're not making the man look like a cuck.
Yeah, and that I like too is that he's taking a stand and he's trying to help, and that I like the fact that he didn't just acquiesce and go, well, okay. What do you want to show? No, he's like, look, man, that's our legacy. That is our family. And then, of course, that last scene of him in the boat and he looks at those photos and, the reality of the situation is hitting him and he's got to figure out something. But, yeah, it's like, the cold, hard reality is it's hard work to get good credit. It has nothing to do with culture or race. It has everything to do with the hard work you put into building credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of friends of different cultures and races that have better credit than me. I'm like a 574, really bad, not good.
T-shirt has you beat with 666.
Mm-hmm.
Satan.
Satan. I would get a bit more.
But I enjoyed the show. We can take it back to Zack Snyder's movie, which I really do think that my favorite part of this, because I wanted to get into this earlier and got sidetracked because I was about to say it and Mad said something and we went off in a different direction. I wanted to say that I love the fact that this opens the door for getting Batfleck and more Wonder Woman. And keeping that part of the DC universe alive because I like that cast. Ezra, I'm not a fan of his as a person.
Oh no.
I don't like his I don't like the version of the Flash he's playing.
No.
But I will tolerate it if I get Ben Affleck as Batman and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and Henry Cavill as Superman. I want to see Superman with Shazam. I love that fucking movie. And I love The Rock, the way he has approached everything.
Well, it drives me nuts that Henry Cavill is not signed for multiple movies as Superman.
Toby Emmerich, Walter Hamada.
Yeah, like that guy. I don't know if you can find many fans out there that are snubbing Henry Cavill in that role. Like everyone I talk to is like,
he is a hot commodity, and they're acting like he's not, and that pisses everyone off.
Hey, wait a minute. Did we already discuss the Oscar thing?
Yeah, we went over that earlier.
Was Tom Connors on?
No, they were live. They had their own.
Keep your erection down.
Oh, okay. I was about to get upset, but I'm okay now.
Yeah, they had their own stream, their own thing. But Matt Vader was on there, and so good shout out to him and the Salty Nerd podcast because they are great.
We all know,
guys.
we know how we feel about them, but I think it's important to always give a shout out to our buddies.
Yeah.
Tom is a good friend. I love that guy. Matt Vader, I've just met, and I love the shit out of him. He's funny as hell. Let's see. Hold on. We got a comment here.
And he's actually shy on the mic and the camera, but he's starting to come out of his shell, and you can see it in some of the skits they're doing on the Salty Nerd podcast. It is very cool.
I love the Salty Nerd podcast. I like Wes Moody. I like Casino Culture Casino. I love those guys. They're all great. And I would like to team up with them on some stuff, man, because I dig the way their brains work.
Oh,
and that's really
Culture is a busy guy.
To be a friend with me, I have to dig how your brain works.
Yeah.
Once I understand, because like when I met Fat Steven first, I'm like, I couldn't figure you out, and I'm like, for me to like you, I have to figure you out. It's an INFJ thing, man. I have to figure you out. Once I figured out how you tick, I'm like, okay, I dig this guy. Yep, I dig him. I dig him good hard. I dig him hard. I like him hard.
I can understand is because I do a lot of comedy, but like a lot of jokes and stuff. But when I talk serious to a point and give compliments, it throws people off.
Well, it's when you talk serious when I started seeing who you really were.
Because the comedy is a front because it's easier for me to have get the laughter for people because it eases the tensions in certain aspects. But then when I talk seriously and bring the smart side out, it throws people off. So it's kind of like the way I like it. It's like a boomerang. You throw the joke out, but then when you catch it, you throw it again, but it's a different type of intellect.
Well, comedy
you use your jokes to mask your pain.
Why does it sound like he's deep throating his mic?
I don't know. I'm getting so worried about you and the way you touch your microphone.
Oh.
Let's see. Nothing coming from the chat. We've got 6 people watching us right now. It's that dead.
But we were going.
We love you,
Zack
though.
Snyder stuff.
Yep, I'm glad they're sticking around.
Yeah, because we should get into some of that nerd things, and they'll probably bring in a couple more people. And
no, right now Friday Night Tights is online.
Yeah, we're not bringing anybody in right now.
Watching with Jeremy Ryan.
I only went over for one reason, and one reason only is so T-shirted and Doc could join.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Doc joined them.
Shit.
What?
I wonder if Doc joined the other group.
What?
Wow. No, I'm just watching. You can look at his channel. You can see all the red.
Oh, Friday Night Tights?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I told you it was going to explode after the shit this week.
It's going to it's going to explode like a 70s porno.
Hey, you're the only one with a mustache.
Hey, remember, I showed you guys my private one porn collection. I have one porn film on my hard drive, and it's a classic 70s movie, The Devil and Miss Jones, 1973. I was like
better way to
9.
What was the plot of that film, anyway?
The devil, and he bangs Miss Jones.
That's it?
Pretty much. There's a lot of other group things happening, and
God damn it, I want some plot in my fucking porno. Okay, it can't just be like they just walk together.
There's Hispanic. I won't masturbate to it.
Oh, I tripped and my dick got caught in her vagina.
I hate when that happens.
Hey, T-shirt. You know what you can watch? Go watch the movie Teeth and come back to me.
Oh,
I actually want to see that one. Okay?
Never. I will not fucking watch that movie. What? That is an actual fucking thing.
What?
Just freaks me out. I saw a movie that back in the 80s called
Jaws?
Something City. It's a Japanese anime, and then they made a live action. Wicked City. And that woman at the beginning with her vagina having spider teeth.
Yep.
I don't ever want to see that again.
Yep.
I don't ever. That freaked me out. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
What?
You're talking my shit now, sir.
That Wicked City freaked me out. Don't get me wrong.
T-shirt's hard.
I own a copy of it. I have a copy of the anime film. But
do you watch
God,
Berserk?
I will not watch it again. Yes, I've seen Berserk.
But do you read the manga? It's because it's better.
No. I'm not
interested in so much better.
I don't read comics. I read graphic novels. Now, if you give me a graphic novel, a Japanese manga graphic novel, I have read them, and yes, I know to read them backwards.
Yes. Okay, but Berserk now comes in these giant deluxe formats. I mean, they're like huge tomes, so you actually get like a big chunk of the story. So you don't have to collect like 50 billion little, issues.
Yeah, I hate fucking comics, man. I love graphic novels. I hate comics.
Okay, well, get the big deluxe editions, man.
I will. Don't tell me what to do.
I will.
I need to see the full story, at least a section of it. 5 issues at minimum in buying a trade paperback.
Yeah, that's basically what these are.
Yeah, because you need an arc.
Kate asked me, no bitchcraft, Gary.
Bitchcraft?
No, bitchcraft. For some reason, they censored her, and I just approved it, so I don't know if it's going to show up. I don't see it.
I can't see it.
Yeah, if it gets censored by YouTube and I have to approve it, for some reason, most of the time, it does not show up in our chat here.
I don't think it will, because I think it's a different system, and it's loading what's already been come through. So you're not going to have a retroactive thing.
She said this. Yeah, it's going to be a good night for them over there on the Friday night side. And then she said, "No bitchcraft, Gary. Yes, do T laughing my ass off. I see it. Sorry, weird. Yes, Kate's having a conversation by herself.
She knows what she's saying to herself.
Yes, she is.
Oh, and now I remembered. I was going to say this earlier, but Matt Vader, he reminds me of Donkey, the video game streamer. Because when Donkey's making his videos, Donkey's all like personable and all that. But I've heard that in reality, he's like, hi, I'm Donkey.
Yeah, well, we've talked about this before. Is that Matt? The minute I talked to him the first time, and had a conversation with him, I'm like, yeah, he's a true introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Much further along than I am, and I dig and respect that. But I feel it's my job when I get introverts to get them to come out and come out of their little shell and stop hiding and let some of yourself shine.
Yeah.
And so that's a work in progress with Matt when he comes on the show. I'm going to, you watch me, I'm going to work the shit out of him.
We're trying to
he's starting to get more comfortable.
Because you guys have already seen it when I've done this to him. I'll bring him up. I'll just say his name. What do you think, Matt? Huh? Mr. Vader? Huh?
For me, it's the group size. If there's like 10 people here, I don't know what to do or who to talk to.
Well, it's always better when you don't.
When do we have 10 people here? I think we had 6 or 7 at most.
You know I love you if I'm shitting on you.
Oh, I know. And it was a good one.
Don Rickles.
He was great.
Grew up on Don
look,
Rickles.
Mary Sue just dropped an article. Fuck yourselves.
I'm glad one of us reads it because I won't read that fucking shit.
Zack Snyder calls out bigoted fans. There's no room for hate. Nice one. So you
that's
literally
gonna
just
get them
did
sued.
that. That's gonna get them sued by WB.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're in trouble right there. That's a definitive statement of fact. Which is
how about this? I'm actually going to tag WB in this. WB.
Hey, what do you think about them saying that? What do you think? Huh?
WB.
Yeah, you like that? Huh? But
man.
before we go, we've already gone over the reviews. Did we ask you what you thought of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I have not seen it yet, unfortunately. I'm a working stiff.
Have you seen Justice League, the new cut?
No, I was busy.
Jesus
talking with
Christ,
you guys
why do
all
you
night.
come on my show?
I'm sorry, but we can't all just sit around and collect checks for shooting people, And some of us actually have to work.
Do it. Anyway, watch those. We'll bring it up again because I'm sure it'll come up in conversation.
Oh, people are going to be talking about this shit for months, trust me.
I don't think Doc's going to make it, and he's busy. That's all right. I don't mind. But once again, if you've not seen the movie The Outpost, watch it. This is the best film of 2020, and it was absolutely snubbed by the Oscars. The Oscars have their heads, those people, the Academy, they have their heads way up their asses, smelling their own fucking farts. They're pointless, useless, and not relevant anymore. To be honest with you, outside of the Critics' Choice and the People's Choice, I don't give a shit about awards ceremonies. I really don't. I think they're all bullshit, and they're there to make somebody money.
And aren't those even starting to get into issues?
We'll see. I'm waiting.
I didn't realize how political the Oscars actually were until Steven Spielberg brought it up, and he said, for years and years and years, I got passed over for an Oscar, and then finally I made Schindler's List, and I made it, and I'm like,
holy shit! What? Your Money Geek explained that geeks and gamers are part of an anti-SJW
God.
Oh my God, Brad! Dude, they actually put this in the article.
Oh no.
Oh, I just tagged them and posted it. And
Everybody that's part of the Fandom Menace, even we're part of the Fandom Menace.
Yeah.
I'm proudly part of it. We're all Democrats, Republicans alike, conservatives, communist members. We're all anti-SJW.
Guys,
We're
Rowan
all
is having a
pro
seizure.
Free speech. And I do not know what the fuck Kate is saying now. This is like, I think she fell asleep on the keyboard.
She's having a seizure.
She has a cat, maybe.
Maybe.
I hope not a seizure. Jesus.
She's channeling the dark arts.
That's not funny. I don't know. I wasn't trying to be funny, but I was kind of funny.
Oh, she just told you that's not funny.
Okay, I won't make a joke about it again.
And then she said, "I was joking."
About what?
Kate,
she's fucking with you.
I'm hearing her voice in my head.
So am I.
I love having Kate on the show. Just,
I do too. I don't know why she's not on here right now, but
I don't know.
But we're getting ready to leave because I'm done.
She's definitely nicer to look at than you. So
the funny thing is, once we hit end, there's going to be 200 different topics that immediately spark up as soon as that clicks end. It's like, oh, why aren't we talking about this live? It happens every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get off and then read our news stream and go, oh man, we could have talked about this. But fuck it. We'll save that for another time. And it sounded like Andrea may be considering doing something tonight. I'll find out. We'll talk in private chat.
Yeah.
And if so, I'll hit you guys up because she was wanting to ask me questions about what happened. I'm not going to talk about it here.
No.
And she wanted to hit me some probing questions about it. And I'm like, I won't mind talking about it, but I'm not going to talk about it on our planned shows.
Yes, nobody wants to see you get probed on the air.
That's right.
Well, let's not say nobody.
Okay, somebody does. Not me.
So, thanks for showing up, everybody. Kate, who else is still left? I don't think anybody's left. I think the other people in the chat are us. Cavatino, if you're still there, hey man. Deanna Vestal, thanks for loving me. Stephen Otten, I'm glad he showed up. Just thanks for showing up, everybody. And I hope we get a bigger crowd, better crowd as we grow. But the only way to do that is to put out stuff that's worth listening to. Yeah. And I hope we do that.
Thank you to all my magnificent fans.
And here, just because I know Gary might forget, anyone still watching, they are only 200 hours away from getting monetized for watch hours. So
we may have
after
gotten
this,
it. We may have gotten it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but just in case, watch a couple extra of the shows and help them get monetized this weekend.
Cavatino's still here.
Got
your 6.
Thank you, Che. We appreciate you, man.
Roger that, Che, and I guess we can all head back to the TOC, man. The talk. Call it a fucking day.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for coming. Kate, always appreciate it when you're in the chat or on the show. You're awesome.
We always appreciate when you come.
Shut up, Yeti. Swear to God, just want to hit you with a fucking rock. Oh, Star Wars. Anyway, I'll hit you with Geode.
Oh my God, that'll kill me.
Or my Star Wars character, Fika, the sentient Bantha-Poodoo.
Why not?
He's an excellent pilot, but he gets shit everywhere.
God.
All right. Fuck all you guys. Love you, man. And this is Pop Culture Minefield, and we're out of here. Get off our lawns.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.